Hello.
Welcome back, guys.
I'm MetalGlennSolid, and this is
I'm Dracodan. I'll be joining Glenn for this illustrious run, helping out with commentary.
gonna be Mega Man Battle Network 3 Blue Any Percent. Shield style hype. Woo!
Totally.
It's possible. Got it the other day. Alright. Are we ready with the timer?
Go.
In 3, 2, 1, go!
Good luck, Glenn.
Thank you. Alrighty, so we basically just get dropped right into Scilab, and as we always do, we have to talk to everyone. And the only one that sucks is this guy in the corner because he spouts out like 18 text boxes worth of nonsense.
Yeah.
And we're done. And here's the tutorial fight. Woo!
Yeah, you go through the same tutorials as you do in the other main games. They follow the same sort of order, where the first fight is the two cannon fight. The next fight teaches you how to use area grab and wide sword, and then the third one teaches you how to add. And the third one has a little bit of movement in lining the viruses up in the middle for hopefully a double shotgun kill. You can also use some buster damage to do that.
Yeah, it's not going to be too difficult. But it's a tutorial. If it was difficult, we'd have a problem.
Yeah.
This ain't no randomizer. But basically, the tutorial comes down to menuing. Charge him.
So people are like talking in chat as well about like what style is possibly going to get, and we just alluded to it right there. Something that doesn't really pop up in the later Battle Network games, but it does in this and Battle Network 2, which is later tonight. In this game, at least, you can get a variety of styles based on how you play through the game. Specific actions give you style points as you play, and then at a specific point in the storyline, we will get our style. So ideally, what we want to aim for, I believe, is custom style.
Yes.
Like most runners will agree, that is universally the best one you can get, and that is mainly gotten through using chips, like selecting a bunch of chips together, adding chips, and that gives you custom points, as opposed to other playstyles giving you points in other styles such as guts, shield, etc. The thing about this game is that it's only fights that give you rewards that actually contribute style points towards the style change. So there are a lot of fights near the start of the game, which are like scripted gauntlet fights, which don't give you a reward. So you can actually play those however you want. We're actually going to utilize partway through the run using Navi Customizer bugs during that. And that actually won't give us bug style points, which you can still run with bug style, but it's quite inconsistent and it gives you a lot of random effect.
Bug style's my personal favorite. Makes runs more interesting if you ask me.
Yeah, some people like it.
Okay.
I prefer the consistency of custom though, which gives you a larger draw in your custom screen.
No kidding. Okay, so in every area you're going to have 2 green mystery datas, which as we all know are random. This time, since ACDC 1 is split into 2 areas, there's only one spot where you can get the second GMD. And you can look for that as soon as you jack in and run down right. I didn't get it, so we're not going to get it. If you saw me save there, well, we didn't get Sword Y, but if you do get Sword Y, you can save before grabbing it, reset. If you get Sword Y, you can reset and immediately get at least 1,000 zennies in ACDC 2. Super neat trick.
This is quite important because parts of this game, one of the major elements of this game in fact, is having enough HP in each area to be able to escape from encounters. Later in the game we're going to get Sneak Run as a Navi Coast program, which will allow us in a lot of areas to not get encounters at all. That's if our HP is at the sneak rate. But there's also the run rate. For ACDC 1 and 2, the run rate is 100,
yes.
So right now we have 100 max HP. We can just escape from encounters. In ACDC 3, the run rate is 140. So we're going to need to buy 2 HP memories to be able to escape, and it's possible to get them both here if you have enough Zenny. The ACDC 2 shop has the first HP mem that you get, and if you don't get the second one here, then you typically get it at the ACDC Square shop, which we're going to reach quite soon. And Glenn just got his first HP mem for 1000. He's going to need to have 2000 Zenny to buy the one at the shop. And in that GMD in ACDC 3, he just got Dash Attacker Z, which is a really useful utility chip for the start of the game. I mentioned quite near the start there's a lot of gauntlet fights. Those fights just so happen to really favour using Dash Attacker Z in them.
They really do.
That will really increase the utility possible in those fights.
Now go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say, in order to use dash attack consistently, we also need to have enough memory to reg it. In this game, and in probably the games you've seen so far, you can equip a reg chip, which means you can basically rig a specific chip to always show up in your custom screen. But each chip in this game has a specific memory limit. For dash attack, you're going to need to have 11 megabytes of memory. And you start the game with, I believe, 5 megabytes of memory, so you need to collect 6 megabytes. There are various ways to do it. Well, one way that you can get a free 3 meg of memory is to also get in AC/DC 3 a Recov 30 star, because you can trade that in for a free Reg Up 3 from the second job in the game.
It's kind of nice to pick up.
Yeah.
But,
so we're seeing here as well that, as I mentioned, Glenn can't run away from the encounters in this area first try. You can run away from them on the second turn if you don't have 140 HP, which he does now, so he doesn't need to worry about that. So you either have to take the fight, like you can run from the fights in 2 turns, or if you've got a simple encounter, you can actually just take the encounter, like if it's faster to do so. Like if you've got a bunny and a meteor and you draw 2 cannons, you may as well just take the fight. And you can even stand to gain more Zenny from doing that encounter.
I think it's up to 200.
Yeah, I think it's 200 for an S rank in AC/DC 3.
Alrighty. So basically what I'm doing now is to advance through the N1. We have to do these 3 missions, which are just true-false questions. The first answer is true, and the next 2 are false.
Yes.
Which is not too bad.
Yeah. So you have to get the relevant data in each area. For the first one, you need to pick up data in AC/DC 3. And then you need to get one in AC/DC 2, and the last one is in AC/DC 1. For the last one, we always jack out and jack back in, since you basically take a quick walk back to AC/DC 1. Depending on the state of the run, runners will choose whether or not to take a jack out for the 1 and 2 as well, because every time you jack out and jack back in, it refreshes the GMDs that are on the net.
I will, because I need Zenny.
Yeah, so since Glenn needs Zenny, he's going to jack back in, and then once he gets back to AC/DC 2, the GMDs are going to be back. And bear in mind that it's possible for the GMDs in AC/DC 2 to have up to 2,000 Zenny in them, so it's possible to get 4,000 Zenny per visit. It's very unlikely, but it is possible.
It's also worth mentioning that AC/DC 2 is always money drops. So like you don't have to worry about picking up a chip or anything like that. We got 200 in 1, which is semi-helpful.
Yeah, it's always money drops. It's just that the value of the drops is incredibly variable. It goes from 2,000 down to 100.
And in one spot, I always seem to get 100, and it's right in front of Yai's PC, which I dropped. It's 1 or 1,000. Oh, I got 300. That's new.
Yeah, that's not too bad. I mean, it's not great, but it's not the bottom value. And the other GMDs up here. So since there are only 2 GMDs per area, you also know that once you've picked up both of them, you don't need to hunt for the other ones, and they are in fixed locations. So
got 2,000. Let's go.
Nice, that is very good. So there are several spots in each network that we know to look out for.
Brings me up to 25. I can buy the bubblers now, which is going to be helpful later, but for now it's just a free elemental shotgun.
Right. One of the differences between blue version and white version are the content of the shops. So right here, Glenn's going to stop to buy bubblers. If you're playing white version, these bubblers would actually be replaced with heat shots, which are still worth getting because they're still useful in the plant man scenario where we need to burn fire chips. But right here, the bubblers are useful for actually attacking at this point because they're relatively strong at 60 damage, and they can also be used in the flam man scenario later.
Yeah, I'll use them then.
Are you going to hope for a Recov 30, or does it not particularly matter to you
right now? I'm just going to grab GMDs that are in my way. Otherwise, I'm just going to make a straight run for the square.
Yeah, given that it is still ultimately random, I don't think it's worth going out of your way for. But any GMDs that are there, it's definitely still worth picking up, because the GMDs in AC/DC 3, they can also hold Zenny. And we really want to have as much as possible in the early game, because it really affects how the flow of the later game goes, based on how many HP mems you can carry and buying other stuff that you need.
I almost forgot the second false data.
Yeah, I forget that all the time. That's not just you.
Just go down there twice in the entire run.
Yeah. So one more run back through to the square, and this time, as with the last trip, Glenn has 140 HP, so none of the encounters are going to stop him now. I mean, he's going to get encounters, but he's able to run away from them.
Right, we don't have any sneak runs yet, so it's not,
Yeah,
you're always going to get encounters.
There's a few spots later in the run where we have to return to this area, but by that point we'll have the sneak run Navi Coast part. 500 Zenny, alright. Yeah,
bad.
We'll have the sneak run Navi Coast part, and we'll also have enough HP to just not get encounters at all.
Right, we're going to have a max base HP of 540, which lets us run from all the areas except one in the run, which would be under Internet 5.
Under net 5, yeah. I think you need 560 to run from under net 5. It's either 560 or 580 you need.
And we just had dinner, now we're going to have an overly complicated Skype call.
Yeah. So this is one more chance to get some Zenny in ACDC 2, since we want to go straight to Yai's homepage, which is near the start of ACDC 2. There are 2 easy spots where a GMD can spawn basically directly in your path.
I'm going to see if I can show off the sword Y.
Oh, alright.
Shotgun T. Blech. That's a useless chip.
So I see people bringing up the element as well as the style in the chat. That is something that needs to be taken note of. I mentioned that you can basically control what style you get based on your playstyle. What you cannot control is the element that you get. The element is purely seeded based on the frame that you hit new game. Once you start a new game, your element is locked in. So you can quote-unquote manipulate it if you work out an audio cue for actually when to start a new game from powering on the system, but it's not too reliable, and the timing window for some elements is wider than others. So Aqua is generally perceived, for instance, as being a useful element. That is a more difficult one to manipulate.
I think the 2 easy ones are Elec and Heat.
Yeah.
According to...
There's also a Reg Up 2 that you can get in Yai's homepage, but Glenn's opting not to get it. If you wanted that, you would just go down as soon as you enter the comp.
Blue, we don't need it as badly.
Mm.
In white, we would normally grab that because you do want a reg.
Dash,
yeah.
Yeah, because I mentioned that the shops are different between versions. The gauntlet fights are also different between versions, actually.
I gotta remember to take out an extra chip to put that in. Or, no, I could just not pick up the Recuff 10, whatever. GMD, no. Basically here you have to break into the school because Dex forgot his disc for his homework.
Yeah, checking for GMDs there as well is, you just saw that Glenn got an encounter there. You generally get an encounter around that area, like right as you're about to reach the key, so checking for GMDs can be a bit awkward since wasting any steps at all just makes it more likely that you're going to get an encounter.
Good GMD drop that I found.
Yeah. And it's also stopping for the BMD there as it contains a copy damage asterisk. There are a bunch of BMDs throughout the game that contain asterisk chips, and it's generally quite useful to pick those up and add them to the folder, because having a folder full of asterisk chips just increases your folder fluidity, like the flow of it. You can generally just take 5 chips per turn.
Now we get to watch land skate in silence, something I wish I knew how to do.
Mm-hmm.
Rattle, rattle. Alright, so someone was trying to steal a code out of the principal's comp. Why the principal has such a powerful program for Wily is beyond me.
Yeah, the game never really goes into that.
Okay, so we only jack in here because this contains 2 of your best friends. One is the Rock Cube,
mm-hmm.
and the second is going to be HP memories.
Rock Cube, aka the highest source of damage for the first quarter of the game.
Indeed, but it has to be combined with Air Shot. Yep. Unless you're fighting fishies.
The Rock Cube can be used defensively as a form of cover for if you're fighting stuff like bikies and bunnies, but the main utility of it, as Glenn says, is to combine it with an air shot. If you lay a Rock Cube down and then use an air shot on it, it will slide across the arena, and whatever it hits will take 200 damage, and it's breaking as well, so it pierces through armor.
Mm-hmm. Now, unfortunately, unlike white version, you can't buy them in a later shop, but you can still get them as GMD drops in the Scilab area, so we're gonna
in Scilab
look for high Zenny and maybe a Rock Cube or 2.
Yeah, Scilab 2 actually has a lot of useful GMD drops. It has Zenny, it has Rock Cubes like Glenn said. It also has panel grabs, which, depending on the strats that you use and the folder stacking methods that you use, is actually a very useful chip to have in the folder in some spots.
It's also useful against one boss if you get wood.
It's Just
man.
using the folder stacking methods I use in white, it's useful on a couple of bosses. It's useful on Kingman, and it's actually useful on Bubbleman Alpha.
Have to keep that in mind if I ever actually bother to learn folder stacking.
Mm-hmm.
But
so our friends have been hypnotized, and you go and check up on them, and now we need to infiltrate the principal's comp to confront Flashman. And the network in here corresponds to the real world.
What am I doing?
So by turning on the lights in the relevant rooms in the school, it turns on the lights in the network as well, so Mega Man can see.
Sort of, but you gotta be careful which blue mystery data you grab, because some of them actually have viruses.
That's true, yeah. Some are viruses, some are the key data required to progress, and then some, like this one, are just useful ones that contain either chips or any. There's a couple of BMD ones that aren't key data that we want to take in these comps.
Right. Less encounters we get in here, the better. But you only need 160 to run from this comp, so it's not a big deal.
You actually just need 140. It's the same as ACDC.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Huh.
So
I forgot my run rates.
So you don't strictly need to pick up the HP mem from the server comp before you enter the comps like this. It's just better to do so because it's faster and you still have the rock cube as well.
Plus, it's right there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like, it's fastest to get it the way you did, because when you leave the principal's office, it does start you slightly closer to the server comp. So it's faster by frames to do it when you did it, rather than at any other time.
Roger. Alrighty, so this one we just have 3 passwords. We have to get them all.
Mm-hmm.
You have to use them simultaneously.
Yeah. For that reason as well, I don't think it's considerably faster or slower to pick these items up in a different order.
No, because you should be running the same distance anyway.
Right.
If you're not, then I want to know what you're doing.
Exactly. If it's faster, then definitely let us know.
Or chat explodes with CAB. Something. Is there labeled ABC? Alrighty.
So just below this password B is one of the BMDs that I said you can choose to pick up. I believe it contains a spreader P.
Yeah.
But it's uncommon for people to go for that. If you want to use the HBurst PA, Program Advanced, you can pick that up, but that's fallen out of fashion lately.
That's part of the route, like 3 or 4 now, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
I think I'm a chip short.
So I mentioned about using folder stacking in this game. Glenn is not opting to do this here, but it's an RNG manipulation method that's been a fairly, relatively recent development. Glenn's just choosing to go in a Flashman and just run with whatever he gets. What you can choose to do instead is put certain chips in certain slots in the folder, stand it in a specific spot. In this case, it would be the left corner below where Flashman is. Then save and reset the game. And then if you run up into the boss without getting an encounter, you need to make sure the step count is low so you don't get an encounter. If you do that and use start to buffer straight into the fight, you will always get a specific chip draw. And the fastest way to use that to deal with Flashman is you reg an air shot and then you force yourself to draw a rock cube, some more air shots, and a wide sword, which quickly deals the 300 damage. But let's see what Glenn just gets here.
I ended up using roll.
I mean, roll's still decent damage, especially when combined with an attack plus 10. Because it hits
90
several
out of it
times.
then. Okay. Ah, it's not what I wanted.
Yeah, the flash posts can be irritating, but no. So
I didn't
Glenn
think he
is
was
also using shard shots to deal damage to Flashman, which is fine. You can get away with that. The only detail to remember is that whenever possible, you really don't want to finish things off with a charge shot. Because I mentioned that your playstyle determines the style points you get, which contribute to the style you'll get later in the run. Killing things with a charge shot gives you a lot of guts points. And I mean a lot of guts points. If you kill a couple of meaningful things with a charge shot, that will pretty much get you gut style. Which is not a very useful style for the run.
Not useful. It's nice that it's a casual, though.
Yeah, I ended up with it casually.
I think most people did. I can't think of very many of my friends that played this game and didn't get gut style their first time through.
Right.
Like for me personally, it was Aqua Guts.
Yeah. And the reason that Gut Style isn't particularly useful is that it's a style that focuses on using the Buster, like it augments the Buster. And that's really not what you want your primary source of damage output to be in this run.
Does increase the damage though. Nope.
It increases the damage, but it turns it into a machine gun, which sounds good, but it also causes bosses and enemies to flinch, which is really not helpful.
The style's permanent, no. You can eventually build up and get another style and switch it out, but you're not going to see that in any run.
Yeah, for all intents and purposes, over the course of a run, it is permanent, because you would need to grind like a lot of battles to get the next style change, which is not worth doing in a run.
Unless you're doing 7-star, in which case you madman.
Yeah. For 7-star, you actually have to take a couple of different style changes, because at one point you need team style in order to get the V4 Navi chips and the specific S-rank chips.
Please punch me.
Yeah, Gutsman is annoying here. You can win this fight. Like, this fight is not scripted and you can choose to win it, but it's just faster to die in this fight because it doesn't end the game if you win the fight. It's one of those fights where the story progresses the same whether you win or lose, and it's just faster to lose the fight.
Alrighty, we get to go to Scilab now.
Indeed.
Because after deleting Flashman, he does something and Mega Man stutters and all this other stuff. So we go to talk to our dad and see if he can fix it. But Dad's not here! Because Dad's the only one who can fix it, because our PET is a custom made that Dad made for us specifically.
They're always talking about how Lan's dad's never at home because he's always at work. And then you go to work and he's not there.
Everywhere.
And he's nowhere.
But he's the only adult in this entire series I feel is not useless.
Yeah. So we now have to go to the Scilab Square for the next N1 Grand Prix qualifier, and the fastest way to get there is through Dex's homepage. Dex's homepage links to the other side of ACDC 1, which itself is linked to the Net Metro, which will take us to the Scilab cyber area. And we just have to check the email for Dex's shortcut and Dex's security code for his security cube. So that unlocks that, and the shortcut email that we opened also adds a hyperlink from Dex's homepage to the ACDC Square, which will be used a couple of times.
It's not as useful as the one we get later.
Yeah.
That one we will abuse.
Oh yes. Yai's link is very useful.
Higsby isn't useless. No, he's not. Ooh,
without
GMP.
Higsby, this run would be quite difficult.
No doubt. Alrighty, so now that we made it to Scilab, we have to immediately buy an HP memory because you need 200 to run in this area, which we didn't have.
Yeah.
We were just praying.
And there is a lot of running around and backtracking in this area, even just in this specific scenario, so it's very helpful to have that there. And I mentioned, or Glenn mentioned rather earlier, that if this were white version, you would be able to use the shop in this area to buy rock cubes. But they don't exist in this version, and instead we have the Mole 1 chip, which is still useful in its own right. Mole hides you underground and makes you immune to most forms of damage, as long as you're not attacking.
I hate ratties.
Yeah, ratties are quite bad. They are not a very good enemy.
Let's see if I can get it with the sword. Got him.
Nice.
Ratties are evil. The more damage they take, the angrier they get, and the angrier they get, the faster they move.
Yep.
That's not fun in itself.
Quite a lot of people, I think, would argue that one of the most threatening enemies in the game is the Ratty Omega during the ranking quest, which we will see later.
I'm not looking forward
So
to
you
that.
do have far more tools to deal with it at that point.
Okay. Not the best way to do that, but all I had. Ooh. Ellie balls are fun. Oh, we got a good idea. Got copy damage sword.
Oh.
Now here's what copy damage does.
Yeah, that was a good play. That was definitely a good play. So, as Glenn just said there, use copy damage. What copy damage does is that whatever you shoot with it will be marked for a short time, and then that marked unit will take whatever damage anything else takes. And that 2000 Zenny drop is incredibly good.
For some reason, I get better drops in Scilab than I do in ACDC 2.
I mean, it's still a good area to get drops, so
It really is.
definitely not
I don't
complaining
see
there.
very I see like rock cubes in medium to high Zenny drops in Scilab more than anything, but I don't always come across the GMDs either. Okay, so now we're on mission 2 for this spot, which is to delete a quote-unquote virus king. And I say that because this is a TV show.
Yeah. Quote-unquote meaning he's an actor.
He's a very bad actor.
Mm-hmm.
But Mega Man took him as, you know, he's just his everyday, you're not a real virus king, blah, blah, blah. He gets mad and he walks off. You gotta go find him again. He doesn't move very far from the square, so that's fine. I can't remember, is he in this version, is he the one with the triple ratties?
Yes, he is, I believe. In white version, he has triple fishies instead.
I'd rather have the fishies.
Yeah, especially since in white version you probably have Dash regged at this point, and Dash just triple deletes them for free.
Ooh, I got Dash.
Oh, there we go.
I got 2 of them.
Not bad at all.
Now, hitting 1 ratty is a miracle.
So even though like Glenn had the air shot there, he was pretty much sitting and waiting for the ratty, rather for a different draw, because the air shot deals 20 damage, and that would leave the ratty with 20 HP, and that's the point at which it starts moving faster.
We don't want that.
Yeah, so it's just easier to kill it in one hit.
Angry ratties are a bad idea. Okay, now he's sending us to AC/DC and gives us the most useless item in the run. The Cyber AC/DC pass.
Yeah.
We're never gonna use it. Because we could just go to Yai's and get straight to where we need to go from Dex's house. It's actually faster to do so. You're walking less distance.
Yeah. For a good deal of the remainder of the game, Yai's homepage is going to be used as a sort of central hub to get basically everywhere else.
Pretty much. There he is. For some reason, I thought he was further back.
Nah.
Ah well. White sword plus 10. I got sword plus 10. Die fishy.
I mean, that counts.
I wish preferred copy damage, but oh well. Beggars can't be choosers.
So this is a good example of what I was talking about before, in that this fight is in the class of gauntlet fights that don't give a reward. So you're free to just take these fights however you want, and it doesn't affect the style that you're going to get later.
Oh, he interrupted the dash. That's not
Yeah.
helpful. And I had copy damage as well.
That would have been really good if not for that. That's a shame.
Okay, how do I want to do this? This is not useful.
I think that was as good a play as anything else you could have done, though, at that point.
I hate hard heads.
Yeah, they're not great.
No, not at all.
I'd mentioned previously about how the rock cube deals breaking damage. This is where it's relevant. The hard heads have armor, which prevents most damage sources from hurting them while their mouths are closed. So in order to hurt them while their mouths are closed, you need to use a form of breaking damage.
Okay, we can at least get rid of the fishy immediately. The cool thing about air shots is you could rapid fire them, unlike a lot of other chips which have very short cooldown.
Yeah, the chips have variable startup time and variable cooldown, and air shot has basically none of either, which is very useful. Like Raton chips, for instance, they're quite hard hitting, but they have a massive cooldown period.
I want longsword. This one, there. Cool. The other reason I chose to play blue over white here is just specifically for one fight and one fight only. I don't want to fight the spiky 3.
Oh yeah, that thing's not nice.
The thing is a monster at the point where we would fight it, and I will mention that point as soon as we get to it.
It comes in the early game, and it's pretty much a mid to late game enemy, which can kill you in, I think, 3 hits at that point.
So you remember how I said Flashman screwed up our PET? It caused us to have to walk all the way back to where we jacked in at.
Yeah, without chips as well. If you get
No
any encounters and you
chips.
don't have any chips.
In fact, you have no communication with land until you jack out. So that's not good. Mega Man kind of freaks out. Good thing he's a net Navi with free will.
And that is the specific reason as well why you also want to jack in from Yai's homepage there, because the story is that at that point Mega Man can only get out of the internet by going back to the place that he originally jacked in from. So it's convenient that that is the closest place to jack in from just for travel's sake, and then it makes that spot faster as well.
I'm in love with my Zenny count at the moment. Over 5,000 at this point in the game is really nice. Alright, we're on a field trip at the zoo, but for some reason, you know, we're allowed to stay overnight. There's an inn right outside the zoo. Whose mom was okay with this? Same reason Lance's allowed to go overseas without his mom. She said it was okay.
So this is the Navi Coast, which you've probably seen in previous runs in this marathon at this point. If not, though, you can basically just put parts in it to power up Mega Man's different parameters. This is just a tutorial, though, where we're just getting through it as quickly as possible, and we don't really care about what we have in it right now. It will be very important later in the run, but not right now.
Also worth mentioning, that's the only time in the entire series Dad explains the Navi Coast. Oh my, I've been muted this whole time. At least on Discord.
I did think you were quiet, but nah, I tried to hold on the fort there.
Oops. Oh, you're going to Russia? Have fun. Yeah, that's pretty much how it is in BN4. Okay, so now we're in the zoo. We have to talk to all the animals and Dex. Because Dex is in charge of our little... He's our little ringleader, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna grab this chip, even though it's not really a thing anymore. Repair star.
It's always nice to have extra star chips that you can throw in the folder.
Well, if I end up having to forget one, then I have an extra one to throw in.
Yeah.
Dex is an animal? Well, you're not wrong. And don't talk to the lions, because that's where you were going to meet Dex anyway. And now they're all going nuts. Basically, the explanation for the lands going nuts is, well, we can explain this with a Metal Gear term, nanomachines!
I think so, yeah.
Which are connected to the internet. And we're going to jack into this TV, because it has one thing that we need, an unlocker. We only need 2 of them, one of which we can get with the number trader.
Yeah. You can get unlockers just by buying them, but they're rather expensive. Unlockers are 4,000 zennies each.
We don't have that kind of money. We're only 11.
Yeah, so since you need 2 unlockers in the run, if we couldn't get them through other means, that'll be an extra 8,000 zenny we need to spend. Like, it would be faster to buy them, we just don't really have the money for it.
No, we don't. Especially at this point in the game where the maximum drop we can have is 2,000, and it's not exactly a common drop.
Yeah. The next main area in the game where we're going to have the opportunity to get quite a bit more money is the Yoka areas, Yoka 1 specifically, and we're going to be using untraps to do that. In this scenario, you can buy untraps from the Scilab guy outside the train station, and that makes it so that... I did that as soon as I showed up. Yeah, that will make it so that GMDs will never be booby-trapped. And the Yoka 1 GMDs will always turn into Zenny GMDs if you do that. And they can give between 1,000 and 3,500 Zenny.
We want 35.
Definitely.
So who doesn't want to get a possibility of 7,000 Zenny?
So here's the gimmick of the zoo comps. You have viruses blocking the path and a bunch of programs just standing around. The viruses and programs all correspond to different animals, and they interact with each other differently. So you always want to take the predator program to the prey virus, or other variants as we'll see later. For instance, that was a mouse virus, so we go and get the cat program. Things like that. Some of them are pretty silly though.
One of them I would never have figured out at the age of 10. I'll explain which one that was when I get to it. It's also worth noting here that when you talk to a Metar, you can immediately pick up a Mr. Prog. The Mr. Prog, when you have him, you can't get encounters. So it's really nice.
Specifically, picking up the Mr. Prog resets the step counter. So it's possible to get encounters, but most of the time it makes it so that you won't get an encounter as long as your movement route is clean enough.
Ah, thought I was left enough. Oh well.
Yeah, NPCs and their hitboxes can be a little janky in this game.
OSG!
Totally.
Ah well. He's not much of a big problem in this game. It's BN1 where he ruins your life.
Oh yeah, totally.
Alrighty. And the encounter rate I'm having right now is not very friendly.
Yeah, you will pretty much always get an encounter at this spot. I've been through this area quite a few times, but I've never managed to not get an encounter before talking to the banana program there.
I don't think it
Which
happens.
is a shame because it's really not far away.
Okay.
It is possible to get through the entire last area of the network, Zoocomp 4, without any encounters. It's unlikely, but it is possible, so we'll have to see if that happens.
I think I've done it once. It's not a very friendly area.
Yeah, it's pretty much just entirely based on how the step counter wants to be.
More copy damage right here. Really nice to have when you don't have a bar sword. It's so hard. Yeah, this is the segment in my splits I like to call the Michael Bay movie.
Yeah, everything explodes.
Oh well. Right side, we got this kick butt music. There isn't much left to talk about in this area. At least not until we get to Beastman.
Well, one important thing that's about to show up in this area is the sneak run BMD in the very corner, which is super important.
Ah!
That's going to be one of the main utilities that we use throughout the rest of the run, since it prevents us from needing to use sneak run subchips.
It's the only thing we put in once and we never take it out again.
Well, you have to configure it for a couple of things.
But it never leaves the Navi Coast. It just moves. It's our other best friend.
So based on what I said before about talking to programs resetting the step counter, it makes it so that in that spot where you go to the sneak run BMD and come back, it's slightly better to get one program on the way up and then get the second one on the way down, as it delays the step counter slightly longer, but it's very negligible.
This is the one that I never understood. It's a jar, it looks unsatisfied. The way you satisfy the jar is you grab an octopus. Friendly reminder, this game is aimed at 10-year-old kids.
It's pretty obscure.
I mean, now that I've learned later that octopi are actually very, very capable of opening jars, it makes more sense. But nobody told me that.
The way I interpreted it is just that the octopus slips inside the jar because octopi can also get themselves into very small spaces.
They're liquids, I swear.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just like cats.
Yeah, cats do the same thing.
If I fits, I sits. Maybe they're the cats of the sea.
The placements of the metars are not random, no, they are fixed. So they'll always be in the same spot, they will always be the same thing. There's no randomness here.
The point of them is to block your path.
Yeah.
Alright, this is the only time where we're going to grab 3. And I'm probably going to get 1 encounter before Beastman.
I don't think so.
No?
I don't think so. Not with this, not with getting a program where you're going to be at now. I don't think you will.
Actually, I do. We'll see.
So, if one was so inclined to try using folder stacking against Beastman to rig a draw, you do it on the bottom corner where you turn into him, and you would actually use the same folder stacking setup as Flashman since the distance is the same, except at this point you'd hopefully have 2 rock cubes to play with.
We drew a rock cube first try.
Yeah,
I did not want to do that. Well.
So, as I'd alluded to earlier, landing the rock cube on Beastman nets an easy 200 damage.
It's not going to be fun.
Like, if you have 2 rock cubes by this point, it can make the fight super quick. And Beastman himself is very erratic and irregular. He just goes from place to place. But he'll always jump to specific spots to attack you. And the truly exploitable thing about this fight is that he will always return to where he last was before attacking you, after he finishes his attack. So that's mostly what Glenn's aiming for. He's waiting for Beastman to attack, and then after the attack's finished, he knows where Beastman's going to return to.
Oh, I almost got him with the mini bomb.
Yeah,
It's like the ultimate challenge. Ooh.
Yeah, hitting Beastman with bombs is very difficult.
See if he wild rushes me. Nope.
Possible, but yeah, that was pretty good to finish that fight without him rushing you. And as we mentioned before, the bubblers are very useful for dealing damage at this point in the game. 60 per shot is quite high damage output.
Did he give up on manips? The only manip I'm going to do is for Windstar?
Yeah, Windstar is very unfriendly to go for without manipulation. It's one of the 3 chips that we need in order to progress the storyline. And you can be in Tanako's homepage looking for it for a long time without finding it. And even once you do find the right encounter, you need to get the correct drop, which isn't guaranteed.
Nope. It's not fixed. Now, later we'll look for a different one that is almost impossible not to get. Okay. So, do you want to explain number codes? Because I am going to drop my headset while I put them in, because I count the clicks on my keyboard.
Right, sure.
Go ahead. So
at this point in the game, Glenn is going to get what effectively amounts to the rest of the inventory that he's going to be using for the rest of the game. You get chips throughout this game and strengthen your folder with them, but you can get most of the more useful chips right here, and other items as well. This is the number trader, which is basically a series of 8-digit passwords, and there are a lot of hidden passwords which you are meant to get through, obscure means that aren't really obvious in the game. But we can use these to get some very powerful chips and programs, as he's doing here. There's going to be a lot of these codes to go through, so you'll have to bear with us. This is basically menuing the segment. He's getting all of the Navi Coast programs and subchips and stuff first, and then you're going to see him start to get a lot of chips. Specifically, some of the chips we're going to see are Varsword, which is the main damage output chip of the game, Step Cross probably, Gut Straight, the 4 Master Star chips. There's another copy damage asterisk as well. And I would imagine Hero Sword and Muramasa. There'll probably be a couple of others that I'm forgetting that we'll see just here. Yeah, Airshot 3, that's quite useful as well. As far as damage output goes, Airshot 3 doesn't do much. As you saw, it only does 40, but it is very useful just for being another Airshot chip. And a High Cannon Star as well. Notice how it's mostly star chips that we're going for, unless there is a very specific reason to take one that's not a star. I see people talking about other codes in the chat. I think that may be the mod codes, as you're saying, that you're referring to, the ones that you put in the Navi Coast, because the way that you get these number codes is you get them from the snack stand in the Yoka metro station. You pay 300 zenny each and you get a lottery code from them. I don't think all of them are valid codes though, so I think it's random whether or not you get the code that actually works. So this is basically just to get these codes quote-unquote legitimately through the game, not very friendly. Everyone just looks up how to get these on game FAQs, I think. So Glenn's just getting all these. There's the Varsword. That is going to be the immediate go-to chip for just ending virus fights immediately. Does base 160 damage, but has a bunch of additional effects that are triggered by doing a series of inputs while holding the A button. The one that we're really going to opt for throughout the full run is Elemental Slash, which is hold A and then press BB left, down, up, and that fires 4 wide sword slashes across the screen of various elements. So it deals a base of 600 damage, I believe. 640 damage, yeah. And because the slashes are elemental, anything with an element will take double damage from one of the hits, so it will deal increased damage.
Okay. Finally got them all.
Welcome back. Good timing.
My wrist hurts.
Yeah, that happens. So now people know about number codes, and that getting them from the Yoka stand is garbage.
It is. It's random and pointless.
Mm-hmm.
Especially nowadays where the internet is mostly free.
Even back in the casual days, I used GameFAQs to look those up.
Yeah.
So here is the aforementioned manipulation that Glenn's going to be using. The one manipulation that Glenn's going to go out of his way to use in this game, Windstar. You get it from a Windbox encounter in this comp, but as I said, getting the encounter is random, getting the drop is random, but there's a specific method to do this. By using a movement route once we're inside the comp, bugging Sneak Run once we're in a specific spot, which increases the encounter rate rather than decreasing it, having Hero Sword in the correct slot in the folder, and then restarting at a specific point with an audio cue, Glenn's hopefully going to get the right encounter. So at this point, I'm going to stop talking and just let Glenn concentrate.
Okay. Now I'm going to bug Sneak Run, which is going to hopefully let us get encounters a lot easier. Speed, charge +1 we're going to bug, so we get a buster bug, so it lets us pull up a guard instead of firing our buster. RL. And we're going to run it, so now we have 2 bugs. One is going to do the opposite of what Sneak Run's supposed to do anyway. Oops. Cancel and return. And we're going to open an email, which will open up the new shortcut in Yai's homepage. Like I said, we're going to use that later. We're going to save. Hard reset. And I'm going to listen for an audio cue, so I'm going to be quiet as well. Let's see. Wait, I screwed that up already. I didn't get it.
Yeah, this is, I'm not entirely sure what the frame window is for both encounters. I think it's like a 2 or a 3 frame window that we're going for here.
It's garbage. There we go.
Nice, second try.
Oh, I did forget one thing, but Hero Sword showed up anyway.
Oh, wow, that's lucky. Ooh, I'm not sure about this.
Got it.
Nice. I'm gonna be honest, that didn't look correct to me, so I'm glad you still got that.
Same.
I'm really glad you still got that.
I don't know why. Wait, I didn't need the buster bug. Oh well, it's fine.
No. So the method there is to use a specific movement route, and in the fight, I mean, and use a couple of events to make sure you get the right drop, because RNG in the fights advances whenever a particle effect plays, and that includes when the wind box is blowing the wind particles across. So by moving left and letting the gear run into you, and then using the set movement speed to move right and then up and use the Hero Sword for a double delete, when done correctly, that should always go the same, and it should be the correct RNG value to force you to get a wind drop. But that was pretty fast, so that's definitely very good for the run, and that was well played by Glenn.
I meant to have something regged there. It didn't matter what I had regged, but I was just lucky that Hero Sword showed up anyway, so... Manipulation failed and succeeded at the same time.
What you have regged can influence the chips that you draw, because you've got to remember that having something regged, it still occupies a slot in the folder, and if the game was going to draw that slot in your first draw anyway, but something is regged, it changes the slots that you draw.
Any step cross in this fight, please? Or Varsard? I didn't get either of them.
Oh,
awesome.
Brutal. Got straight works as well.
Got straight as a great. I screwed up. I can't kill it. Are you serious? He hit me when my iframes ran out.
Yeah, the guard, it can be surprisingly awkward to time. But this is the section of the game that I'd mentioned where there are a lot of either gauntlet fights or scripted fights here, and none of these contribute style points. So even though we're running around with a bug in the Navi Coast, namely we've got a plus part on the command line, and we've got programs that are the same color next to each other, that's not going to give us bug points while we are in these non-reward fights.
Right, the only bug point I should have gotten was from the Windstar fight itself so far.
Yeah, and that's not enough bug points to force you to get bug style as long as the other fights are played properly.
And I think I've done so.
I think so as well. I think you're en route for custom style.
What we want. Worst case scenario, I want bug. But if
Out
we
of
get something else,
curiosity,
it's no big deal.
Do you have any bets for what element you're gonna get?
Eat.
I'm gonna like. We've got to go with Lord Rash. I think there's a wood incoming. Also, nice 2000 zennies.
Yeah, no, it was great.
Like, you go and harass that one heal Navi for like 1000 zenny, and then you just get a 2000 drop. You may as well have just given that to Higsby.
For some reason, though, if you even try to do that, Higsby just magically knows that you didn't get the 1000 zenny from the heal Navi. It's almost like it's fixed.
So, one of the other items that Glenn picked up really early in the run in ACDC 3 was the Longsword E BMD. Like, I mentioned that there's 3 chips required to progress the story. That's not quite true. This is another one that's required, which makes it 4 chips, but we get this in a BMD, so we don't need to worry about the acquisition of this one. Casually, this actually caused me quite a big headache, because I was a stupid kid and I throwed everything in the chip trader, including that Longsword E. So I had to get another one through combat.
Which I think you do in Yoko, right?
It's in
Yoko's
Scilab.
Oh, it's Scilab.
Yeah, like, you can't even get to Yoker at this point. The main network areas, at least.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Because that's what the Longsword is for.
Or I'm at the Zoo Comp.
Right, yeah, no, it's in the Scilab. I think in 1 and 2 you can get swordies.
This is the one part of the game I don't like, is when they fix your folder.
Yeah.
This is where you get 5... You have to find 5 guys dressed up as regular green navis, and you have to fight them with a fixed folder.
Yeah.
It has like 1 good chip in it.
We just souped up our folder with tons of really nice chips, and now we can't use them. It's... The main form of damage in these fights is actually the Guard Buster.
Because that does 40 a pop.
Yep.
See if I get him. Got him. Lance
Nice.
is probably the best chip in that entire folder.
It's pretty situational, but it does a lot of damage, yeah. Lance just hits the back row for a flat 130 damage.
I can live with that. It would come in handy if this was white. It would do a lot to that one spiky.
Yep.
Oh well. But he's not here, so it doesn't matter. Ooh. That is helpful.
What are you doing?
I don't know. But I knew what I was doing.
This is why this folder isn't particularly helpful. It has a lot of short-range chips like swords, and these encounters all have wind boxes in the back, so you need to be able to get 100 damage to the back row somehow, which swords obviously can't do.
I just happened to draw a panel grab and it's still on my iframes.
Yeah. Like, you can move up and try and use a longsword, but if the wind particle hits you at the wrong time, it will push you back before the sword comes out.
I just happened to get lucky, which is nice.
Yeah. So, Glenn just fixed the order that he was going to visit the areas in. The correct order to visit the areas in this scenario is ACDC, and then Yoka, and then Scilab. For the reason that there's only 1 Navi in Scilab, and then you can jack straight into Scilab and go back to the Yoka Square quickly. Surprisingly, you can't reach the Yoka Square from the Yoka area. No idea why, but that's just how it is.
You can only reach 1 area.
Mm-hmm.
Ah! I do not like this chip draw.
Like, you can get into Yoka 1 from here, but you can't even go out into the internet because you don't have Tamako's password.
Cool. Which you're never going to use anyway in the run, so... And I don't know why I always think there's a cutscene after every one of these fights when there isn't.
It is possible to make use of Tamako's password, it's just situational, and a lot of people don't think it's worth it. I agree that it's not worth it, because you also need to take a couple of optional fights. Like, you need to beat Metal Man and Metal Man Alpha, I believe.
Ugh. Who wants to fight Metal Man? That just reminds us of BN4.
Yeah. I mean, you're gonna have to fight him at some point in this run, but hopefully you'll have a lot of fire chips to make that easier.
Call it a hunch, but I think I will.
Mm-hmm.
What do we got? Ooh, I like that.
Dash. That's not bad at all, yeah. It's convenient as well, because these spikies like to line up in your row to be able to attack you.
And they did.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. That was really easy. Shoutouts to Dash G, which you'll see a lot of in BN2.
Oh yes.
If not Dash Star.
Combined with some other chip effects.
Mm-hmm. But we'll let Keysron talk about that.
Yeah. So throughout the entire run as well, a small optimization that Glenn's using is picking up the next metro ticket that we'll need before actually returning to the metro, because after getting off the metro you are slightly closer to the ticket station, so it's slightly more optimal to get them like that. This is where we're going to see, I mentioned that there is a huge cooldown between the Ratons. Like, Glenn wasn't intentionally waiting there. You have to wait that long before you can launch a second Raton.
So slow.
Yeah.
But it was the best chip I had, so it happens. No big deal. Alrighty. The Mr. Proc here I really don't like. It was in your way until after Bubble Man.
Yeah, I don't like him either. I know exactly who you mean.
He's the one NPC I've noticed you really can't swag past.
Yeah, I've tried hugging the wall, but it doesn't happen. You just
you can swag past just about anyone else. Alrighty, so we're done with all the gauntlet fights, so we just come back here and do one more 3-round gauntlet fight and we're done.
Yeah.
And then we can have our normal folder back.
Another tiny little optimization detail is that all of these squares in the game, including this one, have shops that we're going to buy from at some point. Like the Yoka shop here is quite useful at a couple of spots. You can talk to the shopkeepers from the side of the stands and they will actually interact with you, which is slightly faster if you're, say, coming off the metro and then going into Yoka area. Slightly faster.
Oh, I got wrecked.
Oh, man. Yeah, those startup frames will get you.
Every time.
So Glenn did need to be slightly careful there because the Canadum 2s are actually fairly beefy in the damage that they inflict, and with only 90 HP, they would kill you in, I think, 2 hits at that point.
Look on the bright side, you can die here and not get a game over.
Yeah, that's true. It affects your pace pretty badly, but you won't die at least. Well, you won't game over.
Right. I think that's it. Alrighty, so now I can have our broken folder back for a little bit. Now we just go home, go to bed. Already bought the ticket. And there will be times I will just walk into the gate because I forget if I bought the ticket or not.
Yeah, it's the main reason why I don't actually do that, because I'm too inconsistent with remembering if I've done it right, and then by making a mistake, you lose the time that you've already saved.
Alrighty, so we've advanced to the next day. It's the weekend, but Lan is a bonehead, and he promised Mail he'd help her. Okay, this is where we need Windstar. Higsby doesn't even have the courtesy to ask us if we already have the chip. He just sends us out to go get it.
Mm-hmm. Higsby's a joke.
And bam, they're trapped in bubbles. Because the bubble machine she bought was owned by World 3, and World 3 is very sinister this time around.
Yeah, surprisingly sinister.
Basically, the bubbles change colors. If they turn red, they're gonna explode. Alright, so that email gives us Mail's code, and Roll 2, which we're not gonna use. Okay. And, oh, look, there's another one you can't swag past, so there's 2.
Yeah, that guy.
Ah! Pretty. Where am I going? You need to go to Yai's. That. GMD here, though. Ah!
Yeah. It's always the risk. Going for it if it's going to have enough Zenny to be worth your while.
I should just take a rule of thumb and say no in front of Yai's, because it's usually not. Is fine.
I would argue at this point in the game as well, like, unless you are getting 2,000, the amount that you're getting probably isn't really substantial anyway.
No. Especially because the bosses drop a lot of the Zenny you're going to need, and then there's going to be 2 more spots where you're going to grab almost 20,000.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so basically the gimmick in this part to find Bubble Man is to follow the bubble trail. That's what you were meant to do, but we already know where he is, so we're just gonna run straight there. The thing worth noting about the Yoka areas is most of the time you're gonna have a water encounter. You're gonna wanna not run from those, because you're gonna need water chips later. Oh, I got that!
Nice. Very nice. Free water chip.
Get a free water chip, which is gonna save us a lot. And this is going to be the area where the unlockers are going to come in handy that I bought earlier. Unfortunately, this time around, we don't get to use one. Alrighty, so we need to jack out. We have to go... some press-data. And there's only one place where it even exists, and that's in Dad's lab's PC. So basically, we're gonna steal from our own dad. Whale, raise your own son, Dr. Hikari.
Like a good son.
Why do I feel like I forgot something?
I don't think you have.
I don't think I did. Nope. Okay, the Mr. Prague attacks us.
Yeah, you just need to have interacted with Higsby, I think.
There's the E/slash.
Mm-hmm. That right there is going to be the main source of damage throughout the rest of the game.
Pretty
and
much.
I do mean the rest of the game. Like, even against the final boss, Alpha, you want to try and kill him as quickly as possible with elemental slashes.
Unless we get wood. No, I don't need it.
That's true.
If you get wood, then it's a little easy.
Trust me, we're going to get wood.
I will recite the Mega Prayer when we get to that fight.
Alright.
Damn it. I mean, what? Said that. Okay, so we asked Hisby to fix our press. He can't, so we walk outside where this unique NPC is creeping. He's not important, don't worry about it.
Yeah, he won't be involved in the storyline later on.
What is the best type in the game? Arguable, but it's a fan favorite. So I'm not
But don't you know you're immortal on wood panels with undershirt?
Okay, so I'm just gonna run straight to Yoka before I even bother putting in the press.
Not opting to get the GMDs in Scilab then?
Ah.
Ah. Jim.
Although if I do get wood, then I can get another area grab at Star.
That's true, and then you can hit the entire enemy field.
Okay, so now we're going to want to unbug ourselves. Press. Alright. Cool. The only reason we do it there is because there's an HP memory we can pick up in this area, which is past a press breath. Kinda need it. But, yeah, go ahead.
It's a little, perhaps difficult to tell there, but Glenn actually opted for the tri-slash there instead of the elemental slash. It's a different button combo, which is easier to input, and it only does 3 waves instead of 4. But that's still more than enough to deal with most virus fights, so quite a few runners like to opt for the tri-slash on normal virus fights instead of the elemental slash, since it's easier to input.
One less input as well.
Yeah.
Not to mention, it's not useful on bosses at all because it causes them to flinch.
Yeah.
Got 1,000 on that untrapped. Well,
yeah. 1,000
that's the lowest
is the
you can
worst
get,
you
though.
can get here.
It's not that big of a deal. Oh, here's the second one.
Alright, let's hope. Because you can get GMDs in the very top area, which costs some time to check. I personally like to cut down on the time to check there by saving as I enter the area, and then if I don't get a GMD there, I just soft reset.
There you go.
But 1,500 is the next one up, so 2,500 from the area. And bear in mind, as I said, considering he got 2,500 from both GMDs, it's possible to get up to 3,500 in a single one, so
okay,
that could have been a lot better. nice water chip though.
I think we want to get 6 extra?
Something like that.
Something
It's
like that,
different
yeah.
across the versions because it's easier to get them in blue because you already have the 3 bubblers from the shop. And that makes extra bubblers even easier to get because once you burn those bubblers in some way, such as using energy change or putting them in a chip trader, they appear as extra stock in Higgsby's chip order system.
I just realized I'm screwing with the style points. Oops.
It's fine.
I think that's 3 more fights I screwed up with, but the style change fight has its own thing. It's fine.
You still used a chip though, and you're not bugged, are you?
No.
No, you're still
But
getting
using one
custom
chip
points for that, then.
doesn't give you a custom point.
Oh, it doesn't on its own? Okay.
No. So
I don't think you should have gotten a point from those then, from the way you played them. Maybe it got a point if you shot, but let's see. So this is the one that matters, so I'm going wood cust. I think cust is still on the cards, and I think we're going wood here.
Oops.
Definitely.
I definitely screwed that up. Okay, I wanted to take out that cannon too real quick.
Careful with your charge shots here.
Yeah, that's why I'm not gonna use it.
White sword. Yes, the white sword. Oh, that works as well.
That does not work.
Yeah, half worked.
I should have waited till the Metar 2 just kinda didn't do its thing. Okay. I should get custom for that though.
Alright, here we go.
We pray to the... No, what is it? We pray to the Holy One, Lord Vash 26, that we get wood on this blessed Battle Network run. We got shield style.
Oh,
Crap.
electric shield. Alright.
Okay.
This is going to be an interesting run.
I knew that was gonna happen from all the one-ship fights I was doing. Oh well. We didn't even get wood, that's what makes me mad. We got one of the worst styles possible. Which is fine.
Yeah, exclamation mark blame.
Kelios! Oh well.
Yeah, so this is going to make the run quite interesting, I think. Shield style is going to start you with a barrier at the start of each fight, which is still helpful. Like, it helps to be able to basically take a free hit without flinching.
Did I buy
But
this
we're
one?
not going to have as many custom chips in the custom screen at the start of each fight, which can be detrimental. And Elec is a very situational element. The charge shot is a zappering, which will paralyze enemies, but it's very low damage value, and it takes quite a long time to charge.
On the plus side, we can use Bolt.
That's true, yeah. Don't add bolt.
I will not add Bolt. See what we got here. Ooh, but we got Step Cross plus 10.
There you go.
Free
Wow,
fire chip.
tripled it.
Free fire chip so I can not pick one up later.
There has been a grand total of 1 manipulation in this run for getting Windstar, and that is it for Glenn. He doesn't go for other manipulations.
The only one I might try for is Drillman. I won't really be manipulating it. I'll just reset like once or twice and then just do it.
Not even going for cold head manipulation? Dan's game.
No, I want to use the 3-minute break.
I mean, yeah, I can't really blame you for that one.
Considering I had a drink finished before we started.
Mm. I might actually follow your lead on that one and also take a break myself. I might make a snack or something. But then we're leaving the stream with no commentary. How should we do that? Nice gut straight combo, by the way, there.
Quiz King, it's fine. 3 minutes of Quiz King.
Yeah,
if we can.
Gut straight is similar to Varsword in that if you hold the A button, you can input a series of, inputs in that time.
It's a lot shorter.
Yeah. And the effect there is using the rocket gut straight, which fires 3 gut straights across the screen, which is very useful actually. And they are also breaking.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I missed the literally command. Too bad. No proc bot here, just Spherobot. Press F to pay respects to Progbot. He has disabled some of the more spammier commands. I asked him about that.
Rip.
Man, I cannot draw Var Sword.
I mean, to be fair, you have 1 in the folder, and you have a 1 in 6 chance of drawing one.
1 in 5. No custom style.
5 chips out of 30? That sounds like a 1 in 6 chance to me.
Sounds more like 1 in 40, Kappa. Let's see what I got.
No.
Do not add bolt. The cool thing about this, though, I could kill the Ratty.
Yeah, that's true. But, wow, that charge time is, like, that's
garbage.
Not fun.
No.
And with the panel in the bottom right broken there, you actually can't get into the bottom row anymore because of the ice panels.
I knew I would hit that key at least once in this run. If I hit the / key on my keyboard, it just frame advances.
Oof.
Which we don't want. But you just unpause it. It's fine. Man, I cannot get... Well, I guess I could have gut straighted that one. Oh well.
It's possible, yeah.
Okay, so Bolt plus 10 should kill him as well, right?
It should do, yeah. And it's especially easy on this fight because Bubbleman puts an obstacle on the field which he tries to hide behind. And surprise, surprise, Bolt hits all the squares next to an obstacle. And since Bubbleman is Aqua Element, he'll take double damage from electric attacks.
Let's see. Didn't draw it. I will add the swords. I can go for Bolt or I can go for Master Style. Master Style is kind of cool. Actually... No, I have a better idea.
Nah, don't go for Master Style, man.
Wow, that dodge. It's almost like he knew what I was gonna... Shit.
You want to be a little careful with the damage that you're dealing to him anyway. Let's see what we've got here.
Because once... That's not gonna work.
Yeah, you should use the Hero Sword first, I think.
I agree.
So if you get Bubbleman below a specific amount of HP, 25% specifically, he will bring up his own bubble shield. Similar to the barrier that we had at the start, only his regenerates periodically, so...
Got him.
Annoying. There you go.
That's what Bolt does, and it only works if you are the same element style as the chip itself. So the same goes for Salamander, Fountain, and Gaia Blade.
It's definitely one of the bigger perks of being electric that Bolt is quite useful in certain spots. It's one of the reasons why I was also hoping for Wood, though, because Gaia Blade is a really useful chip.
Gaia Blade, basically you'd select the Gaia Blade chip, then any damage chips you pick after Gaia Blade will be added to the 100 it already does.
Yeah.
Except for Muramasa, I think.
You can basically see it in terms of the chips after it turn into attack plus whatever they are.
I think the only exception is Muramasa, since it is considered a question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark.
Yeah.
Ah. My Zenny count at? We got more than enough. Because since I'm not doing cold head minips, I need to buy fish. In which case, Draco's cringing inside.
I'm internally a little hurt, yeah, because being able to not have to spend extra Zenny on fish is one of the biggest perks of doing the cold head manipulation for me. Like, the manipulation isn't that difficult to learn. There are some audio windows that you need to hit, but aside from that, it's honestly not too bad. And it prevents you from needing to buy fish.
So you save 8 grand right there.
Yep, exactly. Which you could put into 2 unlockers, Taps Temple.
But I've already used one.
That's true.
So you're not going back to Male's comp anytime? Doesn't Male get the Yoka square?
Yes, she gets the Yokosuka hyperlink. So later in the run, we'll be able to go straight from Mail's homepage to Yokosuka.
Are we going to try for another style? No.
No, it's absolutely not worth it.
No, you have to grind way too much.
Yeah, like even casually, if I was just playing the game casually, I would not look forward to the prospect of needing to go for another style change because it takes forever.
Mm-hmm. Now, what you could do, you could theoretically do what I did, save before the fight. If you get a style you don't want, you can always just undo sneak run, fight another fight, and then try again.
Yeah, like you could literally grind for style points. Grinding in a battle network run.
Who would have guessed?
That's so stupid.
But since I know I don't have to, it's not a huge deal that I got the style that I have, it's fine.
Yeah.
The element I'm not happy with, but you can't change that no matter what you do.
The ironic thing as well is that if you still had the chance to get the associated programs that you get for leveling up the styles, like when you level up custom style, you get the custom plus programs, you would still be able to use those in shield style because the color code for them is blue, which it shares with the shield style. But we just don't have the opportunity to get them.
That's not the E. Now we have the beach pass.
Yeah, that's right, Doyson. We touched on that earlier in the run, that the reason we're able to exploit certain strats in many of the early gauntlets is that they actually don't contribute style points.
I think the only reason I got it is because I have a lot of fights that had one chip chosen that yielded a reward. It's not a huge deal. I can manage without any of this. Okay, so the area I'm going to next has one of the other chips I need to advance the plot, so I'm going to bug sneak run again in hopes that I get it faster.
Yeah. This right here is also one of the reasons why I choose to run white version instead, because Glenn's going to be trying to get Yo-Yo 1G from this area, which, same as Wind, it's you need to get the right encounter and then you need to get the right drop from that encounter. But in white version, you can just buy this from the Yoka Square shop, which I really prefer.
It's only 3,000, it's not expensive.
No, it's very cheap.
Especially because right after this, you're gonna just get 10 grand anyway. There we go, double your. Now I need to double delete them, which isn't a problem because they're in a great spot to line themselves up.
Specifically, what Glenn's looking for here is a specific busting rank, because the drop that he'll get, like, it will be a yo-yo chip, but the code that you get is dependent on the busting level. Yeah. And I think for G you need 8 or 9.
I've gotten it on 7 once.
Oh really? It might be like 7, 8, 9 then, yeah. Typically, to get that sort of busting level, you want to not take damage, get a double deletion, and move around a few times, because the game takes into account a ton of factors for determining your busting rank, like number of times you move, number of times you shoot, how long it takes to delete, how many times you take damage, if you get a double or triple delete, etc.
When is quad delete?
I mean, as soon as there's 4 viruses, I'll do it.
Gosh.
So he's getting the reg up 3 here. It's hidden behind that little alcove there, but it's probably the most direct reg up 3 in the game, outside of the one you can get from the second job that I mentioned, but you need the Recuff 30 start from that, which is a random drop in ACDC 3.
And it's not worth looking for at this point?
Yeah, absolutely not.
Because we have more powerful chips to reg anyway. Okay, and I can get an extra charge +1 here, which is nice, because I need those too. Since I have Elec. Oh. Now if I had really good RNG, I could have bought an extra VAR sword in that shop. But we're not that lucky.
Yeah, since it's one of the few shops in the game to have a VAR sword available. In white version, that VAR sword isn't there, but it is in other shops instead, such as the Undersquare shop and Undernet 4 shop.
Yeah. For some reason, I was thinking it was in Undernet 4 in this game too, but it's not.
No. Both versions will also have the opportunity to pick up a second VAR sword through Higsby's chip order, though, since, as we already have one, there's automatically one in Higsby's chip order, which is in B code.
Oh my gosh, that charge is so long.
You know, it's mint in it.
Ooh, this will be very nice. Ah, missed a Varsword. Rip.
Ah!
On the bright side, the barrier makes you impervious to this little trumpet, so the barrier has its uses.
Yeah, the Discord virus is very not fun to have around on the field. Having scrambled controls is very awkward, and I believe the scrambling that it causes is random.
And it's consistently random.
Mm-hmm.
Double kill. Nice.
I'm not sure I've ever actually seen a double delete with a panel out 3 before.
You have now!
Yeah, I sure have.
Ah! I screwed up the gut straight input. Oh well, that happens.
Mr. Punch.
Not a good chip draw that I'm getting. Good thing he can't scramble me.
Actually, question. What happens when you throw a prism and then hit it with bolt?
Throw prism and hit it with what?
With bolt.
Oh. Huh. I don't
Does
know.
it double the damage everywhere?
I hope so. Calm down, Steve. I just reading a comment in the chat. I completely screwed up where I was going. Actually, I don't think it does.
No, it doesn't affect the Varsword commands.
Okay.
So here's a really good opportunity to get some Zenny. The job that we just picked up, Rare Chips for Cheap, it is just an encounter in Yai's phone. And you need a specific method to finish the encounter, as it's the Twinner viruses, which need to be double deleted or they don't stay dead. But just by doing that encounter, which is easiest done with just a hero sword, you get 10,000 Zenny.
Hero sword or Varsword?
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're me and you miss a Varsword again.
Yeah. In this fight, I honestly like to just wait around for the hero sword. Which
It's a near
is
guarantee.
convenient. It's convenient if you bottom deck it.
Oh, right. And he's only mad because he was ready to kill some people.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not get even anything worth adding. Like, my gosh.
Oof.
So the way that they fight is every time they move, one of these spiderweb looking things will appear and you have to dodge them. That's it. There's not much to them, and I got the hero sword. Sick.
Nice.
You're gonna be that way. Okay. That's totally fine.
Told you, it's all about that hero sword in this fight.
Pretty much. And he gets so freaked out that you beat his viruses, he calls you a freak and gives you all the money he's stolen from his dead people.
Indeed. So, as you may imagine as well, since we have the style now, the way that we play the fights doesn't matter anymore. So, whatever style points we get doesn't matter. We just play the fights in the fastest way to end them.
Pick Varsword and go.
Yep, pretty much.
Now we have access to the beach area, where we're gonna get the other thing that's the most broken thing in the game. Mod tools!
Yep, and this costs quite a bit of money, so it's convenient that we just got that 10,000 Zenny.
I know, right? What a coincidence. I just
So
spent over half.
Mod tools is used after you install Navi Coast programs. Like when you go on the OK text prompt after installing a Navi Coast program, you can press select and then you can put in a password. And those passwords have various effects. The two effects that are commonly used in the runs is the fast gauge code and the HP plus 1000 code to use with Muramasa, which I can only assume Glenn is going to use because otherwise picking up Muramasa would have no value.
Not really, no. Kill me, please, thank you. Don't worry about him, we're not gonna see him again.
Yeah, this is the second fight in the game like Gutsman Alpha where it's faster to just die to the fight.
There was a time where the runner formerly known as Methodical thought if you first turned Master Style, it was faster to kill him. I don't know
The
if that's true or
chances
not.
of drawing that are incredibly small, though.
It's like 1 in too many thousands.
Yeah, something like that.
Please tell me I have 340, I'll cry. Okay. The only reason I said that is because you need 340 HP to run from this area. If you don't have that, it makes this obnoxious.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of running around in this area, and since a lot of it is on press pathways, you move very slowly on those.
And Dad gave us a good luck email which says, hey, here's a bigger and badder Navi Coast.
Indeed.
There's fish. What else do I need? I'll put that in later. So I'm going to show off some mod tools. We're going to get Fast Gauge. Now, these passwords are not without consequence. Every one will give you a negative effect as well as what you want. This one, I believe, cuts your chip count in half.
It gives you custom gauge -2. And that is one of the main reasons why you really want custom style through this run, since when you have custom style, you'll naturally have a chip draw of 6. So without it, you'd have 4. Since we don't have that, we're going to have a chip draw of 3, as you can see here. And this is very detrimental to a lot of fights. This would actually make, if you're running with folder stacks, it would make some of the folder stacks impossible to utilize, since you need to use 4 chips for them.
Whoops. Now, if I could get the cold heads, it'd be great.
Yeah, this is the reason why Glenn has equipped fish, because the fish program makes, there we go, it makes water viruses more common, and these cold head viruses drop the ice ball chip, which is required to progress the story later on.
Okay, I've got my charge open, and I just wait for him to open. Go. That was pretty well done. It's very difficult not to get that chip.
Yeah, the because of how rare that encounter is meant to be, and that you need to get the chip, they made getting the chip itself as a drop extremely easy. Like the rank window for that is extremely wide. I believe anything from an S to a 4 rank will get you the ice ball. Same with wind, actually. You can go down to busting rank 4 and still get the chips.
Okay. Ice Ball M is meant to be a super rare chip that everybody on the beach seems to want.
Yeah. It's a small choice that runners also have at this point is, if you really want, at this point you can leave fish in and get more cold head encounters, because Ice Ball is an aqua chip, so you can actually use it for energy change fuel.
Which I may consider doing, depending on the chip draw.
Yeah.
If I can one turn it, I'll do it. But since I don't have my own folder, that's going to be pretty hard. I'd have to draw 2 cannonballs.
So the password that Glenn input was the fast gauge password, as he mentioned, which massively increases the rate that the custom gauge charges at. It actually makes it so that it only takes 4 seconds to fill. I believe it's 12 seconds normally.
Something like
so
that.
So it increases the charge rate by 200%, I think. And a small detour here to pick up Black Bomb 1. Purely the reason for picking this up is that it's a fire chip, which, again, like the aqua chips, we need a few of later. Not as many, but we still need a couple.
Only 4. And I can't one-turn this, so it's not worth doing. And we need this data, and that advances to the next round where half the people are eliminated. And this bridge opens up.
By eliminated, we mean drop through the floor, presumably onto that spiked floor.
Alrighty, and yes, it does matter which door we pick, because this folder is full of fire chips, like this one, Burner. And since we have grass panels, it's going to do double damage. I'm going to wait for Metal Man to come down and...
You really want to not miss these if you can help it, though, because while it does deal damage on grass panels, it also, as you can see, it removes the grass panel. So if you miss, then you won't get the damage benefit on that panel anymore.
Ah. I am not getting good chip draw. I should start adding.
This is the real problem with having a custom draw of 3, that you are quite unlikely to draw what you actually need.
Ooh, I got a heat chip. I'm gonna add roll. This is probably the worst scenario for them. Ooh, we got Flame Sword. Okay, cool. Now I just
Ooh,
need him
not
to
bad.
drop either in front of me or on the middle panel in his front row. That way it leaves me open another one.
Yeah, like once Metal Man gets down to lower health, he also starts coming into your area like that to appear in front of you to try and punch you. So if Glenn can lure him onto one of those panels, then...
Ah, I missed him.
Ah.
Oh good, I got 2 D chips. Yeah, they're not cannonballs. On the bright side, you get to listen to this kick butt music.
Yeah, the music is very good, to be fair. And the boomers are useful to use because they don't cause flinch. So even though the damage isn't great, they don't interrupt your comboing.
Ah, that was bad. Oh, perfect. He landed right where I needed him to.
Yeah.
Alright,
So the fight ended at least.
Here's the 3-minute break. So I'm going to use this opportunity to grab one of these fixed folders because you have to, or you're stuck with that same folder we were just using, which is not useful in the next fight. This one is.
N1 folder C, Babby strats.
Alright.
Dude, N1 folder A has a VAR sword in it.
But only one VAR sword.
You only need one VAR sword for guts, man.
Spoilers!
Yeah, at this point we're literally just waiting for the time to run out. You cannot progress this timer faster.
Nope. So in other news, what's new with everyone in chat? Not much else to talk about.
Well, apparently there have been 34 swords missed in this marathon.
That's it?
Apparently, yeah.
Let me fix that real quick. Trivia round? I mean, yeah, Quiz King would be nice. If we had access to it over here, which neither of us do. Where's the Quiz King? We're calling the Quiz King, what the heck? Oh well. Who likes pie? What kind of pie?
I like mince pie, actually.
Hmm.
Not like Christmas mince pies, I mean actual savory mince pie.
Mm-hmm.
Like Christmas mince pies I actually don't like very much.
Eh. Is that like the equivalent to American fruitcake?
Not really, because we do have fruitcake, it's just Christmas cake here. You know what, why don't I Google it for you? I will put it in the chat. Deleted link, yes. Just Google, alright guys, just Google mince pies.
M-I-N-C-E pies.
Yeah, M-I-N-C-E pie.
I contributed 2 missed swords. I think I've contributed 3. So I'm like 9% of all the missed swords. Woohoo!
So it's worth mentioning that although we're like waiting at this point, I mentioned about doing the cold head manipulation. There is a method to force a cold head encounter without using the fish program that makes them quite a frequent encounter. But you need a very specific RNG manipulation method involving resets and a specific step route and using sneak run, like bugging it again. And if we were to do that, we would actually do it during this countdown segment since there's nothing else to do. Like, this is basically downtime, so it's just the best opportunity to do it.
Before the minip, it was basically bathroom splits.
Yeah, that's literally what we called it.
It was awesome. Okay, and we're done. It's a cutscene. Okay, whatever folder I have is now locked, blah blah blah. Hey, guess what, Gutsman? And first thing I drew was a snake, which is going to be useful.
You also drew an area grab, which is even more useful.
Except for the fact that he did that.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to use the snake because I don't remember how long it takes for these to fix themselves.
It's quite a while. So the snakes will appear, one snake for every broken panel. And Gutsman really likes to break your panel, so sometimes he does that job for you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really useful when combined with an area grab, increasing your area. It's even more useful when combined with a wood plus 30, which almost doubles the power of each snake.
My guts, man. Do stuff. There we go. There's your wood plus 30 on the snakes. He's gonna die.
Mm-hmm. Very easily.
See, he died on the second round of snakes. If your enemies are dead, they just go straight for some reason. Oop. And the one thing
Yeah,
I
'cause
don't want to
they-
forget...
Because they no longer have anything to target. And yeah,
Right.
do equip the folder. That's very
For the
important.
love of everything on Earth, equip your regular folder. Although there was one time I did have to fight Kingman with the snake folder, and I completely wrecked his existence.
Oof, that's brutal.
Yeah, because I drew two panel out threes, and 2 snakes.
Not bad at all.
No, that was probably the best draw ever. Chod. Talk to Chod because for some reason an official net battler is allowed to enter an amateur tournament.
Yeah, I don't quite understand that either.
I question it every time I play the run. And he's like a very well-known official, so it's not like he's a rookie.
Yeah.
Ooh. I'm just gonna add for Master Style because I hate this fight.
Yeah, Kingman is awkward.
Kingman's
the
awkward.
pawns and
Yeah.
the knight are both solid obstacles, and if you try and move them around, then Kingman just uses either Plan B or Checkmate.
He cries.
Yeah.
But they're pretty easy to dodge otherwise, so...
3 of 4 for Master Style. So the ideal fold stacking method for this fight is to get a panel grab, and then to basically just hit him with a bar sword.
We got it. Now I have to make sure I wait till his iframes are out. Okay. Master Style does 100 damage, but it hits 9 times, so it'll do a total of 900 damage. And it always does this last explosion for no reason.
Yeah.
Everyone likes the Master Style.
Well, like, Master Style will end fights pretty easily. It just takes quite a long time to use because it's a time freeze attack with an extended animation. So, like, if you can end a fight with a Var Sword instead, that's much faster.
Mm-hmm. Which we'd prefer to do anyway. Rip N1 Grand Prix. Yeah. Okay. And now he's fighting a normal Navi, which turns into Desert Man, which turns into World 3, which turns into 8-second Panic Music Loop.
Are you going to play the cutscene here? No.
I will play this cutscene.
Oh, really? Wow.
It is illegal not to watch this cutscene.
My god.
And we're gonna skip all this because who cares about dialogue? Run is invalid otherwise. I can agree with
this
that.
wastes so much time.
Here we go.
That wastes so much fucking time.
Worth.
The Var Sword first draw. That's really good here as well, because Desert Man is a gimmicky so-and-so. So he'll always hide in the sand after taking a hit. The only exception to that is if he takes a hit from an Aqua Chip, which the second wave of Var Sword counters. So that freezes him in place temporarily, and then you can continue to get hits on him.
It's like building a sandcastle IRL.
Mm-hmm. Like, Aqua element is really, really useful for this fight. And
Got
so are bubblers.
And... Ooh, I got the rock cube. Should have got that earlier, but I digress.
And there he is, waiting to take it in the face.
He's dead.
So, as far as not getting Master Style and not manipulating, that was honestly quite a good Desert Man fight.
Mm-hmm. That first Var Sword definitely helped out a lot. Is that shield style? Yes. Oh wait, this is the one where I can just go straight to the beach. How many fire chips do I have again? Salamander, Black Bomb, Heat V. I think I need one more.
You need 4 chips entering the comps, yeah.
Check. There's one in my folder. Right there. Okay, yeah, I need to buy one.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Just buy
Right.
a heat shot if you can, I suppose.
I could theoretically buy 2, and then I could skip the full... But why would I do that? Okay. Shield style was not intentional. I had too many fights where I chose one chip instead of multiple. It's not that big of a deal.
Trust me, in a run, nobody intentionally goes for shield style. Like,
I once intentionally went for bug.
If you could quickly get access to reflect, it would maybe be worth it, but not without.
Cannot. Alrighty.
Because, like, reflect is a consistent 100 damage, which is quite a lot, actually.
So nice. At least you didn't get ground style. This is blue, so that's not even possible.
Could have gotten shadow style, though, from using them invises and moles.
Because I totally had those.
I mean, yeah, you could have. They do have mole in the Salab Square Shop.
What am I doing? I totally skipped the T.
Like, it's not just the thing. What am I thinking of? Yeah, like, shield style is also caused by using recovery chips, surprisingly enough.
Which I didn't have any, so...
Yeah. So, yeah, we can get a lot of Zenny here, and we also get Yai's T. We can get a lot of Zenny here, actually. Something that is still pretty much a work in progress for this game is a gambling route. There's a gambling minigame in that comp where you can win up to 256,000 Zenny, but without manipulating the result, it's very, very unlikely that you'll win it. And even with manipulating the result, the execution of it is still quite difficult.
And it's still Prism's audio cue that he found?
There's the audio cue, there's the rhythm method that Prism found, and there's also the frame window method, where Terra found a bunch of frame windows that are actually kind of sort of reasonable to aim for.
Only kind of, sort of, which means no.
Basically, as in they're up to like 10 frames.
Ugh, not terrible. It's not good either.
Yeah, it's kind of meh.
Basically, we got a call from our mom that says, hey, there's some kid here that wants to talk to you. It's Tora. This is where you find out that Tora's a lazy piece of crap.
Indeed. This is the Tora jobs scenario, which I think this is one of my least favorite parts of the game.
It's
along with
not
internet
even
fires.
a thing. But basically, Tora was like, yeah, I'm collecting data on... I don't need to go to... on the N1 Grand Prix competitors, and he went to Chod first, and Lan wants to know what he got on Chod, so Tora makes a deal with him. Says, hey, if you do these jobs here that I've marked Tora, I will tell you how Chod is so good at what he does.
Yeah. It's like, this is a pretty bad part of the game, part of the run, I think a lot of people would argue. I mean, the worst part of the run is easily internet fires. No one's going to dispute that, but this is up there as well.
No, that's not what I wanted. I wasn't
Like, anyone who says internet fires isn't the worst part of this run is just wrong.
You could argue, I guess, Plant Man, but...
Plant Man is far better than internet fires.
No doubt. Oh yeah, there's a job that says be my boyfriend. I almost forgot about that one.
Foreveralone.jpg.
Rip.
The thing is, you get fire viruses in the Plantman comp for that very reason. And you even get the program that forces fire encounters.
Mm-hmm. It's an optional pickup, but if you don't pick it up as a casual, then what are you doing?
I mean, yeah.
Oh, plot twist. Alright, so this Tora job is, this guy is missing his friend from years ago, so he gives you a ticket stub to show his friend, but the only way you can find his friend is by talking to his Navi, who's kind of like the digital version of Higsby, if you think about it. Because he says hey instead of huh. Get another aqua chip. Sick.
Not bad.
I've gotten really lucky with the aqua chips.
You have actually, yeah.
Which means I might be able to run from the fires, if I'm lucky. Alrighty. And no GMDs on the way to this guy. He says hey a lot. And he tells you that his operator's in the zoo. And there's really only 2 scientist-looking dudes in the zoo. One is subject dealer, which we're not going to talk to. And one is actually in the zoo. And I call him the zoo hippie because, let's be honest, all the scientists look like mad stoners.
Yeah, they do.
They look high all the time.
They're chemists, if you know what I mean.
Nope, see, like I just said, I'd walk into the gate. Without a ticket. Oops. Alrighty. He gives you a reg up 3 while Tora gets the actual money from the job. Lazy craphead. I want the money. We're greedy. And we're gonna go back to ACDC because we have to do another job that takes us to ACDC. Which is where we're gonna need the Yo-Yo 1G that we got in Beach earlier. He's gathering data. He wants us. He can't talk about the job on the board because he's embarrassed, and I'm pretty sure what he lost would get him fired. And or arrested. Not sure because this is Japan.
I mean, it's the kid's personal information he lost, so make your own conclusions from that.
Mm-hmm. Glenn is a chump when he wants to know stuff. He'll do anything. What did I do that for? I didn't need to go there. My muscle memory just said, oh, wait, job's over. For some reason. Whoops. Oh well. Ugh, these jobs are ridiculous. Okay, so he asked us to go find the Mr. Proc that actually had the data, but he's in Scilab. What he's doing there is beyond me. How far could he have really needed to go? No one knows. We're gonna find him anyway. He's right here. Anyone seen the insurance data? And he thinks he dropped it in ACDC, which coincidentally is also connected to Yai's.
Yep.
So you just check out, check in.
Yeah, it's really useful to be here, and this is the point where we need the Yo-Yo 1G that we obtained previously.
Like I had mentioned, we were going to abuse Yai's PC. If you doubted me, you should stop. Here, take mine. Wow, what a deal, even though I get the insurance data. Which probably saves this guy from losing his job in jail. Oh well. Don't abuse poor Yai. I'm not abusing Yai, I'm abusing her computer. It's completely different.
Is it though? Is it really?
No. Lan's just lucky he has friends who always keep their doors open.
Yeah.
They live in a safe neighborhood where crime doesn't exist, even though their school was just broken into not long ago.
Net crime is on the rise.
Then we're gonna go to beach. On champ, is that a sub emote? That should be an FFC emote.
Yeah, it's an FFC.
It's in very many channels. And Pawn is an MVP, and you'll probably see that later.
It absolutely is, yeah. Pawn has a prestigious spot in my current alpha folder stacking method.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty, so this guy is basically, hey, there's guys who lost the N1 Grand Prix and they're really mad about it. Go beat them up some more.
This is another spot in the run where the version differences are very relevant. This is another reason why I personally prefer to run white version. In white version, you don't have to deal with the mole viruses in these fights, and these guys are horrible.
They can be useful though. They have a set time where they will just appear behind you. They will also do the same thing if you just let go and shoot off a charge shot.
Yep.
So this fight really sucks if you have heat. Or wood. And that one's... This is one of those fights where sword is going to be your best friend.
Definitely.
So any kind of sword, wide sword, hero sword, even uncoded bar sword is useful for that fight. And go in here because there's another HP memory, which is very nice to have.
Yep. It's important to not use the unlocker in here though, because the PMD in here is not useful.
No, it is not. Purple Dolphins, shout out to Mountebank for that nickname for those viruses.
Shoutouts to Mountebank in general, like, man, a kid and his runs in this game, damn.
Before the manipulation, even.
Yeah.
What do we got? Sick.
Not bad.
Oh, I like that chip draw. Ah!
Oh,
That did not go well.
got straight will work though.
Yep. It's just as good. Get anything better? No. I should not have picked anything. Fine. Actually, no. I can't remember. If you use area grab and he's in the front row, does he still take the damage?
It deals 10 damage, I think, yeah.
But since the
So
ball is
does panel
underground,
out.
so does it still work?
Panel out will also hurt him.
Cool. Good to know for future endeavors. Or this next fight.
Yeah.
Because
so
all three of these have the purple dolphin.
Yeah. So the only fight left is in the van outside. So we're going to go here. And then you just need to not forget to talk to the NPC again. I always forget to talk to the NPC after finishing this.
I used to have that habit, and I kicked it really early when I realized, oh crap.
Yeah.
Oh, that was just evil. He jumped back.
Yeah, you still got one.
Yeah. And they didn't steal my panels. When they jump forward, they will steal your panels. I don't like this draw. Dash is not useful here. That's better. There's the Var Sword.
I believe he'll also come into your area if you use an air shot as well.
And
so,
I missed it.
So you can force that.
Yes, he does. I didn't want to risk hitting him. Or missing him. And there we go. Why do I only have 3 chip options? Because I'm using Fast Gauge Navi Coast program. And that will punish you for cheating by taking away 2 chips.
The Navi Coast mod code specifically, if you use
Yes.
the program itself, it doesn't give a negative effect, but we can't use that until later in the run, until we can get Spin Pink.
Right.
Which is far later in the run.
Why did I go from beach to ACDC? Whatever. I could swear I bought a side pass that... Oh well. Not a big deal. Only loses like 10 seconds. And this one we can just jack in here in Scilab, so that's why I prefer to do this one last. It really doesn't matter what order you do them in though.
Yeah, I can see preferring this one as like a home stretch one.
Yep. Oh, Mr. Prog's gone, so I can just hug the wall now. I always forget when he disappears.
Yeah, I wouldn't consistently remember myself, I don't think.
It's just one of those things you never think about, but when he's there, you get so mad. Get out of my way! Ready. This one's another gauntlet fight. This one will involve different terrains, whereas in white it will just crack panels. But the last ones are the same in both versions. It cracks all the panels, which kind of sucks. Copy damage? It gave me copy damage, but it gave me dash instead of anything useful.
Yeah, I believe dash would probably take too long to trigger with copy damage because the effect of copy damage really doesn't last very long. Oh, these rolls suck.
These are garbage chips. A little bit. Cool. I ended up getting a sword, so it's fine. What do we got here? Crap. The cool thing about ice panels, at least, is if you're elect style, it does double damage. So, like, that dies. Wait for this one. Alrighty. This one's sand. Too bad we're not wood style. I did not get what I wanted.
It's a lesser known property of this game that using a tornado attack on a sand panel doubles the damage, since presumably it like whips the sand up.
I don't know what the reason is. This is the freest fight in the game.
Yeah,
lava panels. Oops.
They really didn't think that one through, did they?
I don't think so. Bar sword? Yay!
Ooh, hello. There you go. And shield style actually has a fairly nice synergy with Varsword, I think, since the fact that you have a barrier means that you don't really have to worry about taking a hit while you're doing the input code.
Alrighty, so now we can go home and go to bed because the day's over. We found out that all Chad does in his time where he's not being an official net battler is he practices.
Yeah.
I didn't talk to Toria, really.
Oops.
I blame work. Oops. Oh well. Bar sword is the handiest thing ever. That didn't happen. I mean, what? Okay. I will never understand why the music in this entire game is just so chill, other than the panic music.
Yeah, I don't like the panic music in this game very much.
I don't think anybody likes any of the panic music ever. School, right? Forgot what part of the game I was in. For some reason, I wanted to go see Amaru. Alright, so now we have to talk to everybody, and you'll notice a common theme here if you can read the text quick enough. That Dex isn't here. This kid is standing in his spot. I wonder if Dex has a sixth sense that tells him that that kid is standing in his spot. Dex used to be like a giant butthole and a bully, and I think back in the day he might have like pushed that kid around. So the kid took his revenge by stealing his spot. Alright, school's over. Now we're gonna go see our friend in the wheelchair, Mamoru. Self-reminder, he's on the beach. Alrighty. Oh, dude, remind me not to forget to buy a beach pass when it's conveniently fun to show off.
I am not the guy to ask about reminders for buying any passes because I don't do those strats myself.
It's more like I will remember because I told someone else to tell me.
Alright.
Alrighty. Mamoru's having a heart attack. And he's gonna go get his first aid kit for a heart attack. I don't know why anyone would consider that, but
Put a bandage on it.
Yeah.
Fixes everything.
Oh right, this is a video game. Band-aids fix everything. How could we have forgotten?
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not a band-aid, it's food. I did forget to get one thing on the 3rd floor, but I'm going back anyway.
Yeah. In the Tree of Life on the 3rd floor, there is a HP memory to get, which there is like pretty much no instance in this game where you want to pass up an opportunity for a free HP mem, since it just invariably saves money.
It's right there. Alrighty. I'll buy another beach pass, because I think this is the one time where you go to bed and the pass doesn't expire. Alright. You don't have to get an eating machine. Oh no. Being fed just sounds scary at this point in life. Alrighty, so now I don't have to buy a pass because you get immediately teleported. After the scenario's over, you don't have to leave the beach. Heck, you barely have to leave the hospital. And now we talk to Mamoru in his bed, who always looks dead when he's laying down. It scares me. I worry for the poor kid. Righty, we're on the 3rd floor again, so now I can grab this. And he's gonna go into surgery to cure his disease. Fun fact about the disease, it is worth noting that Mega Man actually points out that it's what killed him as Hub. Alrighty, only 400 HP. Bet. You need less than that to run from these areas anyway, but this is evil. Alrighty, so we get energy change, which is plot specific, so there's no compression for it, which, ugh!
Yeah, it's kind of awkward that you can't compress this code. You'll probably notice already that Glenn has compressed the sneak run program and the fish program by using a button code while highlighting the program in the Navi Coast screen. But energy change is needed in 2 different scenarios, and it's quite an unwieldy program. Like, it takes up quite a bit of physical room.
Couldn't remember where to put this charge. Energy change. Like those evil T Tetris shapes.
I believe they're called Tetronymos.
Alrighty, so the one thing I do want to do here is do a quick folder edit. We're going to take out 2 chips. Just so I don't have to do it later. Add Invis and Muramasa. Because we're going to need those elements later, so... Let's take them both out now. Invis is going to be particularly useful. Especially when we get to the Undernet and have to fight all the Omega Navis. And no encounters. That's good. Goodbye, Master Style. Yeah. You knew thee well. Ah. Stupid weed. Cool. Alright. And we get to go down the stairs to floor number 2, where Lan does something rather edgy. Gonna jump out the window. But he lives, so he decides to save the world. Again. I wonder if he ever got tired of saving the world. And we get the psn key, which is used to get inside this locked door. Ironically, it's the only key item Lan actually gives back. No, he shouldn't. He landed in the water. He's fine. Why would Lan be in a wheelchair now? He's invincible. This is also one of the memeiest, is that a word? Memeiest scenarios ever.
I think it's a word.
Ah, not that way. This way. And there's the reason. Totems. Bye, Salamander. We'll miss you, BB. Alright. And here's our introduction to Plant Man. That was Plant Man. I'll just go for our sword. I did not get. See, this is one of those instances where Gaia Blade would be very nice.
Definitely, yeah.
I'm going to take some damage abuse in case I bottom decked Var Sword. That way at least I can use Muramasa. Enough to use Muramasa at least on him. Muramasa at least has a longsword range, which will go right through him. And his mask. Muramasa's damage is based on how much damage you took yourself, and I jacked in again. Wrong key. So Muramasa can do up to 999 damage. Which will be super useful. It's just longsword range. Alrighty. Gonna burn some more trees. Some more weed. So basically from here on out, what we're going to be getting is we're going to have to burn multiple weeds in multiple areas because it's going to drop us some extra fire chips. Did I already buy the extra salamander? I didn't buy an extra salamander, I bought an extra heat shot. It's infinite, it's significantly cheaper. Alrighty, gonna grab some more weed here. This one has 3. This one has a switch under it. And this one has some money. We don't need to burn any other weeds. That's an interesting way of looking at this scenario. This is the one row I always screw up, so I'm gonna save here. I think it's the last one that I need to burn. This scenario is particularly my least favorite. I don't mind the fires as much, at least I have that down. Alrighty, we're gonna pick up this blue mystery data, which has a full energy, which will be extremely useful later. When we're gonna abuse Muramasa. Wink, nudge, nudge. Alrighty. Grab this. This is an extra charge +1. Very handy to have. That was not the one I wanted to burn. I'm gonna go back up and... This one. Should give me 30. I think I'm short one, actually, now that I think about it.
As long as you entered the comp with 4 fire chips and didn't misburn anything, then you should have exactly the number required to progress through.
I have 2 left. No, I'm short one. That's fine, there's a fire sword.
Yeah.
Not a big deal. Oh wait, I remember where I missed one now. Crap, oh well. Ignore the beep, that was my headset. Wireless for the win! That'll happen from time to time. Oh well. Alright. Now we have Plant Man. Basically what Plant Man's gonna do is every time he lines up with us, he is going to fire off a spike. And that spike hurts. I missed something. Excuse me, video game? I was too short. What? That's interesting. Give me totems. Great. I didn't think I was... Where did I miss burn?
Yeah, you can get extra heat chips from this cluster. It's one of those ones, it's like you burn 1 to get 2, I think.
Yeah, I missed one of those ones then, because... I have no idea where I missed one. I'm not gonna get the fire chips, so no point in fighting this. I need double totem. I forgot after I reloaded. Now, because that's what that one up here is for. Should give it to me. There we go. Okay, we're good. I know where I missed it. It's fine. I'm retarded. What am I doing? Oh well. No big deal. We shall continue. This is fine. Meanwhile, everything's on fire. That picture is finally relevant. But these random encounters are annoying. Okay. We don't have grass stage, so this isn't going to be too bad. Can't get grass stage. Why did... I definitely didn't hit that button, but okay.
So although you do have an elemental weakness to Plant Man, ideally you shouldn't really take much damage in this fight. if it goes well. This is one fight where Varsword can potentially end it like really quickly, because Plantman does have an element, so the flame shot of Varsword will deal double damage.
There it is.
And with an attack plus 10. Not bad.
Just need him to do something useful. There we go. What do we got? A bunch of swords that I probably shouldn't have at this point, but oh well.
It's as good a finishing tool as any.
Yes. We won't be having very many swords, just Var swords. And I have over 20,000, so I could grab 2. Oh, there's one other thing I could do in Yoka. The Yoka Square has a shake, which then activates Shake 1S from Higsby, which then lets you get another Var sword. It's actually cheaper. And not really out of the way. Woohoo! Hooray for being cheap. Alrighty, and we'll see a familiar face. It's Mr. Match!
Thought you were about to say Mr. Mime there.
I'm... No. Mr. Match. The man, the myth, the legend. The Scottish man himself. I have to remember they're in Yoka, they're in Beach, then they come here to Scilab. Which is good because then the shake is right in my face. And there isn't really a whole lot that I need to buy after Fish anyway, so. We good. Scottish Pyromaniac. Alright. What do we got? Ooh. Like this.
I'm actually trying to think now of what I would call the worst battleship in the game.
This game?
Sure. Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
That was
timing was unkind.
rather unlucky. Okay, so let's just hope I draw a Var sword. On the bright side, I just...
There you go.
Lucky for me. Is that shit? Kilios just noticed he's been here for like 20 minutes.
like even Step Cross would have been good there, because one of the advantages to the ElecShld shot is that it does stop the wind boxes from blowing wind while they're paralyzed.
Okay, Kilios, it's not gonna destroy anything. Now it might. Gonna hope I hit the wind box here. Nope, I failed. Bad idea.
Struggling.
Bad idea. Killed it. We're good.
All right, cool. Just remember, Glenn, there's no shame in pause buffering Rathies.
I've never done that. It's fine. The thing that's not fine is angry ratties.
Oh yeah.
But we got away with it, so it's not a big deal. Although I must say, my menuing hasn't been horrible. So I can say, this is a +1. Alrighty. How much do I have? 18,000. Guess what I can buy? Another Var sword! So since I'm going to be there, that's exactly what I'll do. Then I will immediately put it in the folder. Because that will give me 2. And the brokenest thing about VarSword is you can have up to 4 of them in your folder.
Yeah.
Which is the dream.
Like, it's honestly kind of silly that in this game they're not mega chips. Like, I wouldn't have been able to blame them for making VarSword a mega chip.
I wouldn't have blamed him for making it a giga chip with how broken it is in this game.
That's true.
Okay, what do we got? Okay, meteors are evil. Don't like them. Panel grab. Yeah, Boomer 2s drop panel grabs, which is no fun! If you don't know how to use it, it is an overpowered sword, yes. 3,000 zennies! How useless. Actually, no, that gives me enough to buy the extra VAR sword.
Yeah, it's always nice to grab what you can, and having extra zenny gives you some more insurance during the Flamman scenario as well, like if you need to buy more from Higsby's chip order.
Mm-hmm. But I have a feeling I won't buy that much. Just from how lucky I've been getting from the Yoka drops. And save after for these fights. Ah, not what I wanted, but okay. And this one I'll bet is Airshot 2. Nope, it's Barrier Star. Which is also fine, it's not a big deal. If I were to get 3,000 more zennies, I would not be upset. We got Invis. Ah, I could have got the triple. I didn't think the bunny was gonna go there. Stupid bunny. Screwing with your own chip. Alright, so now they're going to Scilab, and obviously we just jack out. Because we're already in Scilab. But this is gonna be one where you only have to fight one, and then 3 more are gonna spawn, and Mr. Match saves you with Flamman. And we got 2,000 zennies. Nice! Just gonna run over here and confront them. Because we're Mega Man and Lan. We're not afraid of nothing. I think the only thing Lan and Mega Man are afraid of is being separated.
Yeah,
that's sweet. I did not get the break I wanted. Oh.
Still helps though.
Cool. Dash came in handy again. Alrighty. Jack back in, because now we have to go to ACDC Square, where we have an anonymous tip via email that someone has some information. And it's going to be very useful to us. Basically, it's going to say, don't trust Mr. Match. He's fine. He's a good guy. He works for Scilab now, don't you know? He just has this really scary Navi, but he saved him. He saved us with it. It's fine.
Man, Glenn, you know better than to check that GMD at this point. 100 zenny.
No, I don't. It will be 100 every time, and I will still check it every time like a fool. I know exactly which.
So you're not getting the extra invisors for security then?
I knew that. I forgot that one. And then there's 1 HP memory I forgot. Now we go see Mamoru, because reasons.
Like, Invis is a really useful chip at the worst of times, but when coupled with Fast Gauge, it's just really, really nice because it lasts throughout the duration of an entire turn. So as long as you draw one, like, pretty much every turn, you're basically invulnerable the whole time.
That's why we have 4.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't need to buy the AC/DC pass. I needed the Scilab pass. Alrighty. Taking the stairs instead of the elevator is faster. In what universe? Even though I've actually found a lot of buildings where the stairs are faster than the elevator.
Yeah, I mean, if you're fast enough on them, that makes sense.
Even in some places, you don't need to be faster than them. It's gotta be faster than the elevator getting down. This one is emulator. Some runners are gonna use GBA player. Why did I take a date? It's runner's preference, really.
Yeah, I also prefer emulator myself, just for the convenience. And also, keyboard is a really good control scheme for this game.
Mm-hmm. What emulator to use? VBA-RR. Alrighty, so Mr. Match said we were at the hospital and he quote-unquote recruited us to help him with something for Scilab, wink wink. So we have to talk to this Mr. Prague and give him fire data, which he then says is really, really hot. That's not weird at all. And we're gonna do the same thing here. He gets his heat data this time. I always forget where this one is. Whoa, this is way too hot. Now he can make hot stuff though, because that's a vending machine. Somehow. Doesn't look like one to me. No.
I mean, that said, I'm not entirely sure why Match needs us to install these programs for him.
So it doesn't look like he did it.
But people find out he did anyway.
Yes. I think he did it to break land.
That too. That's true.
Which you'll see in a second of why it would break land. And now we're gonna go home because Mr. Match says we're finally done. We're gonna go home and go to our room because we're kids on the internet. By the time Lan gets back to his room, stuff starts exploding. And you get an emergency email that says the fires have broken out all over the net. But since we're Lan, we're worried about our dad, who's always at work. Alrighty, Pass. And we're gonna talk to this guy because we actually can't go in there because the whole place is on fire. He tells us, just stay off the internet and you'll be fine.
It's like an oven in there.
Is there pizza in there?
Possibly.
Mmm, pizza. Righty. Live at work, never come home, almost die in a fire. Totally fine. Okay, so before I actually get started with the fires here, I have to edit folder number 2, which we got somewhere. They got 7 chips, 4 of which are aqua chips, and the other 2 are going to be pawn, aka the MVP, and 2 attack plus 10s. We can put in literally any 7 chips we want, except aqua chips.
The presence of the pawn actually indicates where we got it from. It was Toro that gave us that folder.
Shh, it's fine. I'm kidding, but he's right. Alrighty,
it's right,
bubbler,
me.
bubbler. And I'm gonna take out some more swords. Put the invises in as well. Pawn is the MVP.
Pawn champ after all. So this is Netfires, and this is what I alluded to earlier, saying this is the worst part of the game, in my opinion. Same as Plant Man scenario where you needed to burn the trees, except this time you need to use aqua chips to put out the fires. In each network map, there are 3 fires to put out. So like in ACDC 1 there's 3 fires, ACDC 2 there's 3 fires, and so on and so forth. And since some of the maps are segmented, like ACDC 1 being in 2 areas, it's very easy to overlook that you've missed something. Like, it's really easy to overlook that you've missed a fire in this scenario. And some of the areas can be a little confusing if you're not used to this, so it's definitely worth learning how to actually clear this quickly.
I was surprised.
You can lose a lot of time if you need to make another backtrack.
I was very surprised when I was de-resting this segment that I remembered where all the fires were.
Yeah, that's good. Like, the worst case scenario in this segment is that you run out of aqua chips before you finish clearing an area. Because it means you need to go and look for more aqua chips, which generally means go and buy them from Higsby, and then it means you need to backtrack to where you just were again. And, well, worst case scenario is that you actually can't afford what you need from Higsby. This is one of the reasons why we need to pick up a lot of Zenny throughout the run. Once you get past this scenario, Zenny is less important, but if you can't afford backup chips here, then you're going to lose a lot of time.
Which is why we weren't running from fights in Yoka.
Exactly.
We were fighting them for water chips. Same thing with the cold head encounter in Hades Isle. If we were to have drawn like 2 cannonballs, like I said at the time, I would have just got the free ice ball M and used it for energy change.
Yeah.
It's fodder! Alright, and at the end of each main town area, so ACDC, Scilab, etc., you'll get a call from Mr. Match. How he got your phone number is beyond me. Bring!
Convenient though, since it actually lets you know that you're done with an area.
Yeah. Have to remember the order to do them in. ACDC, Yoka, Scilab, Beach.
Mm-hmm.
As long as I have 9 after Yoka, I don't have to buy any.
Generally, the way I see it is that even if you do need to make a shopping trip after Yoka, it's not so bad, since if you're going to Scilab next, you can get there easily through Yai's homepage anyway.
Mm-hmm. It's where we're going to end up, probably. Because I will bet you I have to buy 1.
Yeah, we'll see.
And in some of the fires, there's money. I just assume that I like to think that the comedian Navi over here said, "Oh my god, there's a fire. Let's throw money at it. It might go away." Crap,
Maybe.
I failed. What other explanation is there for money being in a fire?
So this is perhaps the easiest net fire to miss. There's the bottom entrance into Yoka 1 over here. There's a fire through this entrance.
It's just hanging out with the bug frag trader.
Yeah.
And these ones will have viruses in them. Please give me the water chip. Yes!
Wow. You are getting pretty lucky with those drops.
I jacked out.
Oh! Wow.
Oops.
Okay.
That's awkward.
Mail's homepage isn't too far away.
Nope.
And you have a little bit of backtracking to do there anyway, so
Yeah.
it's not that bad.
So I'll just read the email. It says, new shortcut. Shortcut, we need to talk. No, 17.
I mean, you need to activate Tamiko's shortcut anyway, so... Oh well.
For what?
For the beach warp.
Oh yeah, I could do that.
There you go.
Oh well. Not that big of a deal. Since I have all the shortcuts necessary. I don't know why I jacked out there though. Or what possessed me to do that. Oh well.
I mean, you jack out once you're done on the top segment of Yoka 1, so it's an easy mistake to make, I think.
Definitely possible. That one's gonna have nothing in it. And the last fire in this area sucks because it's right where Bubble Man was. $3,500 Zenny.
Oof, not bad at all.
Not at all. Granted, it's not as important now, but still. And I cannot one-turn this, so I'm just gonna run from it. Alrighty. I think this is the last time we're in this area, isn't it?
I think it is, actually, yeah.
Okay, so we got 5,000 out of the GMDs, which isn't bad. We want 7, but I'll just cry about it later. Especially when I try to buy all the VAR swords. Which I can do. Because the Shake 1S is only like 40 some hundred. Or is it 5,000?
I'm not entirely sure, actually.
I know what the total is for the two of them. It's like 96. And a VAR sword is 10, so you actually get one at a small discount. A 4% discount. Everyone jumps on that stuff. Okay. I don't know how many I have. 2 bubble sides. Count my chips real quick. 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. I told you I'd have to buy one.
Damn it. And that was after getting one in the MetalGlennSolid drop as well.
Mm-hmm. That was the only one I got, though, too.
Yeah.
That's okay. Bubblers are 500. Now I can buy... I can't buy the Shake, so I'll just buy the VAR sword. I can buy the Shake later after I beat Slam Man.
Yeah, that'll
I'll
work.
put this in the and I'm gonna get rid of Dash and put in the VAR sword because Z code is crap. Ugh. Despite how many star codes I have, Z code is still crap. Oh well. Why does I need Shake? Because Shake 1S will get me another VAR sword, and then I'll have 4. Which is the dream. Who wouldn't like an extra VAR sword? There's a rock cube, though!
Oh,
Rock cubes are our best friends.
Yeah.
It doesn't help in the menuing. I'm gonna come back for that fire.
Just don't forget that it's there then.
It's all the time, it's fine. I found 400 more zennies in a fire. I really want to know.
More in a glowing green jewel.
This one should have a virus in it.
Oh, this series is actually ruined for me now because now, like, when I see Mega Man getting Zenny from GMDs, all I can think is that he's mining Bitcoin.
Is that such a bad idea right now, though? Ooh, there's a GMD. I don't think the chat liked Bitcoin. I remember reading one article about Bitcoin where one guy's account was worth like $37,000 and he couldn't get into it.
Wow.
Because he lost the password or something.
Jeez.
I feel bad for that guy. More importantly, I feel better for the I feel bad if it gets hacked.
Yeah.
That's not what I wanted. Ring. Mr. Match, you filthy stalker. Why do you have an 11-year-old's caller ID phone number thing? Alright, beach. Very important about beach in the fires. Do not do this first area first. Because this other area gives you 3 more water chips.
Yeah, that's quite the mistake to make.
Mm-hmm.
You want to do this area first and then do the upper area, and that works out so that you end up actually finishing the fires right outside where the entrance to the undernet is, which is quite convenient.
Mm-hmm. Better bust it. It's a virus. Yeah, this is also the area where we're going to use the other unlocker. Right there at that security cube. Which we need.
Yeah. The other open area on the right is the one that hosts Desert Man Alpha, though, so definitely don't accidentally go there.
At least not too deep.
Yeah.
Lucky for us, he doesn't spawn in this area. Or, was it Beta that doesn't spawn here? Bubbleman Beta spawns here, doesn't he?
Bubbleman Beta spawns here, but you need to be at 25% HP or lower for him to appear.
He's a coward.
Yep.
Then you just do HP plus 300 and it's fine. And he goes, oh crap. Not that he's particularly difficult.
Yeah.
He's just Bubble Man that shoots more stuff at you. Hey, remember that Yort? Yeah, we don't need you. There's one Yort encounter I don't think I've ever dropped a yo-yo from, and I think it's the one with the B-tank.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't think I've ever dropped a yo-yo in that fight.
That is unfortunate.
Right, it's Yort and B-tank, Yort and Metar 2, and then Yort. Alrighty. Those are the net fires. That's a virus. Bubbleman is the worst Navi. At least Bubbleman is useful, is the fact that he has a chip you can use. Friendly reminder, Glide exists. That's what you need the tally for from the Tora jobs. Gives you access to the undernet. Behold, the internet. This internet isn't as bad as some other ones.
Yeah, I actually really like the internet in BN3.
BN1, it was just kind of dumb.
Yeah, it's exactly the same as the internet, just with stronger viruses.
But I like to look at BN1 as like the beta testing for the entire series.
Essentially, yeah.
Great game though.
It's okay. It's a better speed game than a casual game.
Well, that's what I was meant as. This is a speedrunning marathon, Draco.
That is true.
BN1 becomes our slave in the speedrun. I still forgot to buy the Yoka HP memory. Oh well.
And yes, Glenn really did want to use that fountain there. Master Style, while it deals a lot of damage, it's very slow, and once you have plenty of bar swords, they just massively outstrip anything in damage output. So the best use for Fountain is as energy change fuel instead. Mm-hmm. Same deal with Salamander in the Plantman scenario. Like, if you were the respective elements, you'd be able to use them in battle, but Salamander and Fountain both really aren't very good combat chips. They're nowhere near as good as Guyblade and Bolt.
Cool. I'm amazed at the bar sword draws that I'm getting with 3 chips.
Yeah. Friendly reminder that you can put fast gauge program in now and get your 5-chip drawback.
I could.
Flam man.
A Flam Man.
Flam man with 3 chips. This is brutal.
This is fine. It's the bottom candle that we don't like.
Yeah, so the pattern
here.
of Flam Man's candles is actually always the same. When you start the fight, they're both going to be green, which is invulnerability, and then they'll illuminate themselves after a set period of time. The top one will always go orange, which is these rotating flames. The bottom one then goes green again, and then after that it goes red. And ideally you want to leave it as that, but now it's going to cycle through effect. But the pawn is very helpfully placed to put it out immediately.
Another thing you could do is just get area grab.
You could have also used bolt on the pawn, actually.
Oh yeah, I forgot you could do that. Oh well, not a big deal.
Yeah.
And here's the other scripted fight in the game, base.
Yep. Just start the fight and then stand there and let him kill you, which shield style actually makes this slower. Dan's game.
Mm-hmm. But each of his hits do 200, so he has to hit me 3 times. GG.
Fun fact, you cannot kill base.
Without hacking the game.
Yeah. Well, like, even then,
no,
if
he's
you...
invincible, isn't he?
If you use a Northwind, then I don't think it actually gets rid of the aura.
It gets rid of the aura, but it doesn't help you in either way.
And
you still can't
the thing
win.
is, even if you reduce Base's HP, it won't go below 1. Like, even if you set Geddon 3 down and just wait for him to die, he won't actually die.
Yeah. Alright, so we grabbed a beach pass there because something funny happens. We're already at beach. But we have the beach pass. We didn't use it. So what does it do? It turns into an AC/DC pass. It does nothing else. Just kind of funny.
Would have been funnier if you could just walk through the barrier and then come back through the other one.
Right? It might have freaked somebody out at the game devs. They're like, what if they do this? Then what? It probably crashed the game. Would be my understanding. The game stays at 1. Good to know. I've never actually done it. Shot's at our door because he needs our help. Meanwhile, Land confesses his crimes. Shot tells him to shut up or he has to arrest him. I like how as the run goes on, my menuing gets worse.
I think it's natural with this game. Like, I really like this game and I like running this game, but I find it very physically fatiguing.
Mm-hmm. Note to self, have more water.
Yes, drink water is my universal advice for everyone.
Health advice from TeamBN. That's not where I went.
Yeah, Dad's in the next room along.
He's back in the ice room. This room attracts your friends. The next room over attracts the local hospital resident, who no longer lives here. He moved. His surgery was a success. They let him go home. Where does he live? No one knows. I think Yoka somewhere.
That seems reasonable, yeah.
What could possibly be fatiguing about a 4-hour speedrun? That's a good question. I'll let you know when I have the answer. He lives under the zoo.
I mean, if we were like really, really, really good at this run, it would only be a 3-hour speedrun, but you need to be really, really good at it for that.
I don't have that kind of menuing skill.
Nope, nor do I.
Man, spoilers! Oh man. have to go back to the undernet, except this time we're not going to go to that same spot. We're going to go to the under square. Because to get it, the reason Chad went in to recruit you is because him and Proto Man are too well known to sneak into the undernet. Go figure. But Lan and Mega Man, who are not. They've not saved the world twice or anything.
Yeah. We're still nobodies, apparently.
Nobody is aware who Mega Man or Lan are. Which makes me wonder, what actually happens on the internet? Like, what kind of headlines are put on here?
Yeah, don't know. I mean, I can only assume that the Undernet is the counterpart of something like the Deep Web. Which surely means that nobody talks about it.
Just 4chan.
I mean, that too.
Thankfully, we're getting rid of the rechip problem here.
Yeah, very soon, because there's going to be a Navi Coast reconfiguration here, since Glenn will not only want to get rid of fast gauge mod code, he'll want to put in the HP plus 1000 instead, since that
the next one,
massively
after
buffs
that,
up Muramasa.
There's one that I do nothing with. You have to put in Black Mind.
Yeah.
Do nothing. Get rid of energy change, put in Black Mind, rotate it, and run.
You use Black Mind to trigger 2 events, and that is it.
Yeah, it's pretty useless. Basically what Black Mind does is it changes, supposedly, your physical appearance to the heel navis in the undernet to make you look evil. I don't know what else it could be.
The random encounters are on screen, and for the most part, you don't get random encounters in the early comps, as I mentioned earlier in the run that every area in the game has a run rate where you need a specific amount of HP to run from encounters. It also has a sneak rate where if your HP is above a certain level, you won't get encounters in the given areas.
Alright.
But Glenn is not at the sneak rate for the Undernet areas yet. The sneak rate for Undernet is actually quite high. And yes, alrighty indeed, this is the fun part of the game. Like, I legitimately think this is the most fun part of the game right here as far as combat goes. The Omega Virus Gauntlet is quite challenging, quite intense, quite fast-paced. Like, it's definitely a very welcome change of pace from the internet fires.
Okay.
Muramasa strats, very suspicious.
We're gonna save just in case.
And I'm sorry, Jogo, we can't do the Copyman skip because this is not EXE3. Would be faster though. Like, someone who's absolutely bent on getting world record should run EXE3.
Is it EXE3 or I thought it was black?
It's EXE3 in particular, yes.
Ah. Oh right, black is just Japanese blue.
Mm-hmm.
I remember now. There's one of our 3-bar swords. Have we explained the copy skip?
I mean, like, kinda, I suppose. It's not relevant to this run because, like, as I alluded to, it's a skip that's only possible in EXE3, which is the original Japanese release of this game. Long story short, we're about to enter the ranking quest section of the game, where you climb in rank throughout the Undernet to try and eventually meet Serenade, the king of the Undernet. There's a section in the Japanese version where you can basically just skip an objective. I believe when you need to go and meet Copyman in Undernet 4, you can simply go to where the rank 2 Navi is in the DNN station instead, and it's just there. But that was removed in later releases of the game, such as this one we're playing now.
They figured out that it spawned Copyman, or it spawned Mistman, who we won't see today.
So, Shield style is actually paying some decent dividends here. Like, it was a bit of a liability earlier in the run due to cutting down the custom screen to pretty impractical level, but now that we're back to 5-chip draw with fast gauge, having the barrier at the start of the fights honestly makes a lot of these fights a lot safer.
It's kind of nice.
I don't know about you, but this is one area of the game where I end up saving quite frequently because some of these fights can deal an insane amount of damage very quickly, especially depending on what element you have.
In white, definitely I would. This one, not so much.
You know all about them yo-yo viruses.
Don't talk to me about them yo-yo viruses.
Yeah, exactly.
I need to reg invis.
That's definitely advisable.
Good thing it was near the top of the folder.
Like, honestly, like another reason to run white as well, I suppose, that full cost is just too good to pass up. Regging full cost in most scenarios is pretty much the best reg chip you can use.
It's like a free ad.
Indeed. Nope, you don't get the yo-yo encounter in blue. The main differences between the versions are the shop options and most of the gauntlet fights like you see here. So this Ratty is an asshole. Like, the regular Ratties are big enough assholes, but the Ratty Omega is an absolute terror.
Not anymore. We
Thankfully,
have
the
our
Thorn
sword.
makes quite an effective shield.
We also have our sword.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Righty. See what happens when you have 3 Var swords at this point in the game.
Yeah.
Everything is free.
You definitely have a far greater chance of drawing it compared to if you still only have like the one in your folder. And the number of invises as well is very, very useful.
Okay, he stopped in a good spot.
Yeah, the Dominard I really don't like.
What did I just do?
What you need is a mirror master draw.
That'd be nice. Now I draw it. As soon as she said something.
Ah, there we go.
Where it's practically pointless. I could have beaten it with a regular sword, but whatever.
So this is the encounter that would normally be the Omega Yo-Yo encounter, as I mentioned.
Those would be. It still has a Yord Omega. It's
yeah,
not as evil.
It's not in the front row, so yeah.
What is it?
Front column, I should say.
Right.
Oh, and this is why we don't like the Omega viruses. They have a lot of offensive capability.
They're evil.
Yeah, these draws.
They're not good.
Definitely not.
But I drew 3 Var swords.
Oh my god, what is this? Explain?
No.
That's... Alright. Yeah, this is one of the reasons why the HP plus 1000 is generally chosen by a lot of runners, because, as I mentioned, you can take a hell of a lot of damage in these fights. And
not even an exaggeration.
Without a HP plus 1000, there is a legitimate risk of death in a lot of those fights.
Alrighty.
Well, yeah, in Battle Network 1 and Battle Network 2, I believe Muramasa was just a sword.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. Okay, I'm trying to think, where is it? Okay. I had to remember the route in my head for a sec. Because if I showed you my notes, you'd laugh.
Does it just say Go Beach?
No, my notes are literally the number codes and
oh wow.
The
I mean,
compression
if
codes.
you can get by with that.
I get by fine.
Yeah, I can see that.
Every time I talk to this next Navi, I always think of interrogation in MGS5. He just says, "Spit it out!" Right there. And we drew another one. Cool. Mighty number 10. We now have rank 10. And now we have an email from Mail, whose roles says roles trapped in one of the zoo comps, so we have to go all the way back there. Back to zoo comp 2, I believe? Or is it 3?
Zoo comp 2. If you don't mind as well, after this run, since you haven't really been showcasing the folder stacking, since the end of the run is the alpha fight, I would like to, after the run is over, link the highlight I have of the current alpha folder stacking strat so people can see the comparison.
Where am I going? I'm stupid. Yeah. In before
you are going to the main comps.
I was distracted by RNG manipulation. Ah. We get to listen to this kick butt track again, though. So are any of us really upset that we have to come back here? And it's uninterrupted because we have the sneak rate.
Yep. This is a good example of what I mean about backtracking to an earlier area where you have the sneak rate. Not just the run rate, but the sneak rate so that you don't even get encounters.
Who needs Mr. Progs?
Sadly, the HP plus 1000 that we installed, that doesn't contribute to the sneak or run rate. It's strictly tied to the HP mems that you have. Like, that's a different HP value.
Binies are made pointless.
That was
fire
definitely
damage.
A good practical decision there.
Yep. My preferred choice with that situation. I got one ready. Nothing used. Oh, wait. I got one of these things. That's not what I wanted. I'm dumb. I put the rock cube over a hole.
Oh man.
But I drew 3 var swords on the ratty.
Can you please stop doing
That feel when you need a var sword and you draw all 3 at once?
That is against God.
And I drew another one. And one more with a Trumpy Omega. These things suck.
Yeah.
Especially because I drew nothing.
Oh wow, yeah. They have the same invulnerability effect as the basic ones, but the effect lasts forever.
At least that's the way it seems. At least I can stop him.
Yeah. For a brief period.
And the bunny's wrapped. Ah, I screwed up.
Yeah, this is just the Trumpy Omega doing its thing. It sucks.
Oh my god!
Wow, come on, game.
Okay, I can kill it now.
That is something special.
That was something. I'm gonna get hit by that stupid rabbit.
Just don't have a pawn. Fine. Or do that.
I pulled the invis. Jeez, it's like I've been talking to the Pharaoh from Yu-Gi-Oh! And learning his Heart of the Cards thing. I'm willing myself to draw this crap. Okay, number 8 is the undernet, so we're just gonna go to Yais. Ba-ba-ba-da.
Yeah, we never use Hero Sword or Life Sword with Variable because it's just not worth it. Elemental Slash is far better in virtually every scenario.
I would say that Life Sword is situational at best, but
Yeah.
why bother? The core of the chips? Yeah, I guess you could say that. Or I could just say it's Yu-Gi-Oh! GX style bullcrap luck, aka plot armor. Oh well. I haven't died yet, so I'm happy. This is rank 9. I'm going the wrong
getting
way.
a Deathless is certainly one of the better things that can be hoped for in these runs.
For some reason, I keep thinking when I go to Yoka comps, I got rank 9, but I don't.
I make these sorts of mistakes during the ranking quest a lot as well. There's just so much backtracking here that this is like also one of the less fun parts of the game in my opinion, and there is a lot of room for making a routing mistake.
You can tell the developers themselves got tired of this scenario. Let's skip from 7 to 3.
Well, I mean, it wasn't intentional, but yeah.
Oh, come on. You completely expect me to believe that they didn't originally want you to get ranks 6 through 4? And then they went, this is long. That was Inafude, we mighty number 9 now. That's why I have the split segment for rank 10. I have it in mighty number 10. Ah! That corner is evil. I still have actually yet to play mighty number 9.
Same, I haven't checked it out myself.
Oh well. Now we don't have the sneak rate, so now we have to run. I hate running. This way. I have to go back to where I fought Flam Man. Because the hint for rank number 8 that we got from number 9 is Red New 3. Gee. Let's not unscramble that. The only common complaint I keep hearing about Mighty Number 9 was the credits length. Oops. Yurts, and Yarts, I believe, are the yo-yo viruses, right? Ugh. So good with vowels. Alright, let's see if we can get some Var swords, because now we have to fight Beastman Beta. Beastman Beta actually does have one little change. He can basically do his slash attack that he's doing now, but he can land behind you. And I drew 2 Var swords. Don't land behind me, please. I missed a Var sword!
Yeah. That step cross will help though.
It's killing him. And he's dead. Var sword will deal with most of everything from here on out. I did not mean to do that. But basically, here's a good example of what Gaia Blade would do if we were wood style. It's gone.
So something to note as well is that this Fishy Omega can potentially be a real troll, because although it zooms towards you, it's actually not always vulnerable. On the frames where it's in between two panels, it actually won't take damage.
And it would have gone through that rock cube.
Mhm.
And just not given a crap.
Like, when I first started running this game, one of my runs I took a really costly death because I waited for it to charge towards me, used an air shot, and it just ignored the air shot and killed me.
I don't think I made that mistake. I think what I would just do is try to time it out with swords. That was a mistake.
That's ambitious.
That was me testing something. I failed miserably. Oh well. What is the timer at, just out of curiosity?
On my screen, it's looking like 3:10.
Already? One of many birds. Now go find it. I feel like they expected you to be Japanese with this one, because I could not figure this one out without looking it up when I was a kid.
This one I actually really didn't struggle with as a kid, because the one that I got stuck on was Where Evil Falls, because I interpreted that as like where evil is defeated. So I looked everywhere like except Hades Isle, and that resulted in me spending like ages like exploring every nook and cranny of the game and like literally discovering everything about the in-game world in this game. So by the time I got to that point, I was like, oh, okay, that's going to refer to the origami birds, because I already knew about that.
Someone never played Mega Man Classic. I actually did not. Origamis. Well. Dude. I think my least favorite track in the game after the panic musics is the hospital theme. It just seems so depressing to me.
I mean, hey, it's emotive. It's what it goes for.
Fair. Back to school because we're getting a hint. Getting a rank for free. Your gate man drug. That pun. Where am I going? Over here. Alrighty. Now we're ranked number 7 by skipping this cutscene. And we get an email from Chad that says head to AC/DC Square. There's something on the board. But that board message doesn't appear unless you read that email.
Where is the board?
Wrong community!
I'm sorry.
Also, it's on SRCom. Or no, it's on SRL. I lied.
That's true.
And the reason we didn't just go to Dex's is because he moved, so he is now the one jerk of a friend who locked his freaking door. We're not happy about it.
Is it really jerkish to lock your door when you vacate the
No.
the premises?
It is when you're Lan Hikari. Like, you can still go through his homepage and everything. That's still there. You just can't go in his house.
Yeah.
Which is fine. From number 3. I'll be an Undernet 4. Okay. Who would have thought we would have got the attention of number 3? Well, guess what? No one cares. I should not have done that. Because it's faster to just go through Dex's homepage.
Yeah, it's a minor time loss at worst.
It's like seconds. Okay. I have to figure out a way to get a backup HP memory. because I'm not going back to Yoka. Depending on my Zenny, I could just buy that 8,000 one in Scilab and pass up 4 of our swords. Actually, what do I got? 8,000. 500 Zens, please. Copyman doesn't give you a reward. Bowman gives you 2,000. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pass on the 4th of our sword.
Yeah, rip.
Rip the dream. So I get 3,000 here. Got 500. Crap. Rip the dream, man.
Do you still have an untrap?
No.
Damn it. Otherwise, I would have said pick up the GMDs in Undernet 2.
Oh, wait, untrap?
Yes.
Yeah,
untrap.
actually, I do.
Alright. Go get those GMDs.
Oh, that's right. They do drop an obnoxious amount, don't they?
They can do, in 2, yeah. And they can be in good spots.
Cheers.
No problem.
Take a quick look.
I take
Oh, they
full
weren't in the...
credit for this run.
Please. This is a bag up, isn't it? Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
No. Killer Eye.
If you haven't seen one yet, there's a good chance that there's one in the upper corner anyway.
Yeah. There it is. It's by the postman.
Huh. Alright, here we go. Here we go, lads.
25.
There you go.
Not bad. It's not great.
What did I tell you, bud? On top corner.
Here it is.
There we go.
25.
Told
Puts us
you,
at
man.
44, 14,400, which isn't bad. Almost enough. Actually, no.
Take an encounter here and get 500.
That's exactly enough. Because I already bought the one from Higsby.
Oof.
Or did I? Which ones did I buy? I have DF and B, right?
One... Yes.
Then I have enough.
Nice.
Because I bought the one from Higsby already. I have enough. Sick. If I remember correctly, the Shake 1S is 4,400. Unless it's 56, then I'll cry. Here's Copyman, also known as the real Gutsman. Gutsman Beta.
Also known as the Gutsman that can actually kill you since he uses a Z punch.
Yeah, so I gotta watch at what I put him at. Not gonna use the MVP, I'm gonna add him. Maybe he'll give me 3 bar swords. You give me 2. Thanks, bro.
It's more than enough.
The real Gutsman is nothing compared to me. I'm gonna go buy that Shake 1S real quick. Shake, 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 shake. Please don't be 56, please. 56. Eureka.
There we go, lads.
Alright. Now we go over to the beach. Grind for 40 hours for 1 bar sword? No thanks. Next I go to Yoka. And I forget the hint for this one, but all I know is it has something to do with champions.
It's place of battles.
Place of battles. Damn it. Yeah, champions do battle. It's fine.
Yeah, they do.
Long story short, this is my favorite net Navi ever.
It's a Navi, yeah.
This is Bowman. And the only reason he's my favorite is because I actually bowl. That's it.
But how accurate is this guy?
As far as what?
Does he capture the essence of bowling?
As in the anime, and I screwed up.
Yeah. One thing I will give this fight as well is that Bowlman is considerably easier than Mistman.
I will agree with you 100%. This man sucks.
Mistman isn't at all, yeah.
Now he's captured the spirit of bowling. Ah! I missed. It's fine, I have Muramasa.
Always comes to the rescue.
Mm-hmm. Back up to Rock Cube strats.
Hey up, Ice, how's it going?
Hey. Who's Glenn with one N? Alrighty, so now he's telling us, hey, guess what? Guess where the under server is? Yep, it's in Yoka. So we go there to get this thing called the Giga Freeze, which does absolutely nothing. Because only a chosen one can wield it. Which turns out to be Mega Man and Bass. That's why there's a game around the two of them. Who knows? And see an elevator. Do you take it? Nah, we're responsible people. Okay, this is a cutscene, this is a cutscene. Now this is where you would learn that Mamoru is the head of the Under server because it was created by his dad and blah blah blah. That hot spring did have hippo poo in it. It's been cleaned up since then, it's been months. Fine, people forgot about that. Nobody put Lan in the spotlight again. But now Drillman is breaking into Scilab, so we're gonna go try and stop him before he delivers something to Wily. But first we're gonna get this 4th Var Sword!
So, you said you may also manipulate this, right?
No, I'm just gonna reset for Var Sword, which should be relatively easy.
I mean, yeah, you've got 4. You've got a decent chance of drawing one.
What the heck? How would Mamoru do that from a wheelchair? I'm kind of curious to know how that would play out. The 4 Swords Adventures. 4 of our Swords Adventures. Praise the Lord for sneak rate. Cool. Alrighty.
And all runners need to learn not to forget about the HP mem that's right there.
Mm-hmm. I actually...
Hidden right behind the staircase.
I actually showed that to Mountebank. He had no idea it was there.
That's understandable. Like, Mountebank is, like, extremely good, but there are certain things that you just wouldn't know about this game without, like, a long experience with this game.
It was, like 3 weeks after he picked up the game.
Yeah,
he was
like,
pretty good then.
Yeah, casual experience with this game is actually pretty important, though.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't want to go there.
Yo, don't do that. Unless you want an optional Navi fight.
No thanks. Alrighty, so I'm going to do one more quick folder edit that I should have done when I put in the Var Sword, but whatever. We're going to reg 1 air shot. I'm going to save real quick. Shouldn't have a problem, though.
Alright, hopefully.
Var Sword? Got it.
Nice, first try. And didn't fluff the command either. Like,
that was Drill Man.
It can be pretty easy to fluff the command for Elemental Slash if you're using another chip before it, since you need to hold the A button for the inputs, which if you're using a chip before it, and on Drillman you need to do it quite quickly or he still gets away, it's easy to overmash and just use the normal Var Sword hit.
Drillman is probably the easiest boss in this game.
Yeah, totally.
If you can do it quick enough.
They really overcompensated for his intended difficulty by giving him very little HP. Like, the bosses that preceded him, Plantman and Flamman, have 1000 HP each, and Drillman just has 600 HP. but that just happens to be less than what the elemental slash does.
Mm-hmm. They didn't compensate for Flashman either.
Yeah.
Who is easily wrecked. He has, like, no HP. Also, you have to read that email, or Proto Man does not appear in the gold square. Or the Scilab square. Gold square, please. Where did gold come from?
I mean, there's a guy called Gold Zen in the chat. Maybe that's got something to do with it.
Actually, it's gold 0, thank you.
Ah, oh yeah, I can't read. I'm sorry, I apologize. I fucked up.
That feel when the Englishman can't read his own nationality.
I'm not gonna make excuses.
Gold split? I mean, I don't have splits up, so...
Surely that was a Drillman fight that was worthy of a gold, though, so we'll just run with that.
Sure. The Drillman fight itself, yeah. Apparently... Drillman died. Let's have an evil moment.
Which is like, I'm sure Drillman in this game is meant to be Wily's personal Navi, so that's kind of cold.
Yeah. I think he is. But he just brings him back anyway. Is one region faster than the other? I don't know, is Copy Man Skip worth it? Because the extended jack-in animation?
Objectively, I think it is.
But nobody's ever actually done it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's been timed off, but I find it hard to believe that Japanese version isn't faster. But the thing is, it's less practical, because with all the manipulations that we now do in this game and in this route, you do a lot of soft resetting for a lot of manipulations, and the amount of time it takes... Well, sorry, no, the soft reset ones don't matter, because that doesn't influence one layer of RNG. The one that matters is the one that you hard reset for, because that includes using audio cues to time continues, and the amount of time before you gain control on that screen differs on the JP version, because there's an extra animation.
And it's not like you couldn't find it again, it'd just be annoying. And then if you ran both versions, you'd have to remember which version you're running at all times. But I think even without manipulations, I think somebody said that the number of times you could jack in and out would just cancel out the 2 minutes.
I can certainly believe that, yeah.
The Copy Man Skip only saves a couple of minutes. But the jack-in animation is significantly slower. So you look like a wizard and save no time. I've been tempted to do runs of it, though.
I was tempted until I actually tried it, and considering I try and use as much manipulation as I can, I was like, no, this is garbage. I don't like this.
See, I don't right now, so I could do it. I just have to remember that I'm playing white, first of all, and then remember all the menuing. We're looking for Dad. This is the one room we couldn't access. Now we can. There's our Dad. Hi, Dad. That's why you can never find him at work. You can't get into his office. Talk to Dad.
I'm pretty sure in one of the cutscenes, Wily makes reference to designing Drillman himself.
I just know that Bubble Man and Drill Man are cousins.
Yeah, apparently. I'm not sure how that relationship works.
I don't think anyone does. Someone time to hit up Inafune. Hey, how are they related? Alrighty, so basically we want to get to the World 3 base. The only way we know how to do that is by boat. The only boat we know goes to Hades Isle. It has a super old engines, but lucky for Lan, he's got a super rich friend. With apparently her own access to bank accounts.
Come on, she's just like any other rich kid. She clearly just asks her daddy.
Fair. Bubble Man's programmer is Drill Man's programmer's sister. Oh right, you have to leave email before you can leave your room in the last scenario because reasons.
Even though, like, I mean, it's so that you get the Navi Coast program for alpha, but it's pointless in the run. You don't use it.
Yeah, the alpha stays in the same spot all the time. It's fixed, so it matters not.
And that is the last Metro Pass you get in the game. No more remembering to get them.
All we have to remember now is to not die.
So now after like 3.5 hours of just a game where the movement is just an afterthought and you just go from place to place barely thinking about what you're doing, now it is technical movement, the areas. The
also
Wily
grape
comps,
soda.
Yeah, grape soda and the WWW comps are... These feature a lot of very technical movement tricks, actually, because throughout these areas are a lot of claw traps, which will try and catch you if you are below them at any point.
The first one's free.
Yeah, but there are a lot of like corners to cut. There are a lot of cycles to catch, but the corner cutting is extremely tight.
You'll see that in number 3, especially. Yeah. See, you can pretty much run straight through the first half of this, stop once, and just go.
This is effectively the final area of the game, and we are at the required run rate, which is 540. After the 1000 HP bug, we have 540 max HP. That is the amount that we need to run. There is an HP mem at the start of the comp, but since we had 540 HP entering this comp, we don't need to go out of our way to get it, which changes the way that some of these cycles work as well.
Yep, since you don't have to get that extra HP memory, you could just pretty much run straight through this comp without stopping.
Basically, yeah.
I have to go to this one because on the one next to me there's an alpha, and what an alpha will do is he will bring one of the claw traps to you and just dump you in that little dump area you can see over there.
Yeah.
Like this. There's no other way to get out of that area.
There are 2 dump areas per comp though, and quite often the second one is actually situated in a way that it's actually sometimes helpful to take it as a teleport, such as just there.
It's gonna do something stupid. Oh my gosh.
You've got the barrier, fine.
Yep. Okay, I definitely didn't let go. Ah! You butt munch.
Yeah, Flashman can be a little mean in his alpha form.
If you do this, it's free.
Yeah.
Like, despite the fact that it's an advanced form, they did not give him very much HP. I don't even think the Omega has that much HP. But it is the first boss. So. This one is evil. This one is the one that contains Bubble Man.
Yeah, both the fights in this and the movement in this, this comp is just horrible.
I've seen Bubble Man in this comp ruin world record runs. And it makes everyone want to cry. But the beginning isn't so bad.
So for this circular section as well, where you hide in the little alcove from claws, there is a TAS-only movement trick where you can dodge on the corners, but I've tried it. I'm fairly confident in saying it's not RTA viable.
No. Oh, we almost got the perfect Bubble Man.
Unfortunately, on Bubble Man Alpha, you can't just use a VAR sword like that because the bubbles come out sooner on the Alpha version. To get away with that, you actually need to use a couple of panel grabs and then stand there on the spot below the bubbles with an invis and then use the VAR sword.
I require nothing. Don't go in your bubble and I'm happy. Aha! He tried, but he died.
Bolt reigns supreme. Bolt is super useful.
It's even useful on Alpha, which is nice. So I have an extra damage chip. Whereas in my run on Friday afternoon, I didn't have that option because I was Aqua. 'Cause I was Aqua. Okay. Ah! Random encounters. They are wasting my time. And now we gotta wait because I did not get the best cycle possible. One side moves slightly faster than the other, which offsets them like this. Alrighty, here's Desert Man again. Ooh, we got a bar sword. I did not want that. Fine. I did not mean to do that. Ah, well.
Yeah.
Am I missing enough HP? Yes. I'm just gonna use a rock cube air shot and destroy the sandcastle and shoot him. He didn't land where I wanted him to.
Now you're definitely losing enough HP.
Actually, wait, I have another Vars. I didn't draw.
Is it worth it?
Yes! Now it's not. Okay. I don't want to die, please. Oh my god. I might die. Oh, bolt. That's helpful.
Yeah, that's really helpful.
Not yet.
Get him to move up.
I died.
Oh my...
I saved a Bubble Man, so we're good. I just have to fight Bubble Man again. That was bad.
Multiple frames from ending the fight.
I'm up. Oh, I saved after Bubble Man. We're good.
Okay.
Shoot. We're good. It's fine.
So close to having the Deathless run.
He's right. I still have repair in my folder. Mercy kill, please. Now we're at the end of the game. It's fine. Ah! That's one of the worst spots to get an encounter in this comp.
Yeah, getting encounters pretty much around any of the spots where you're doing dodging around the claws is really bad, because then once you get back onto the map, it's difficult to remember exactly where the claws were, and if you're in the middle of making a tight dodge, it's pretty much a given that it's going to get you caught.
This is what I want. I will save Muramasa. That's a lot of invis.
Wow, those invis, yeah.
There's a Var Sword.
This is just a really bad pattern.
It really...
Alright.
Okay, I got 2 hits on him. Probably shouldn't have added that invis, but whatever. Ooh.
Not bad.
What's he down to? Oh, are you serious?
You've got Hero Sword.
Oh. That's fine too.
Well, that works.
That works just as well. Desert Man is just Dessert Man. Thank you. Someone else who calls him Dessert Man.
Dessert Man would be a good Navi. He'd be a tasty Navi.
What flavor would he be though?
I'm not sure. So there is a really tight route that you can take through this comp in particular to get a lot of cycles quicker, but the big problem is this long snaking area here where you can corner cut on the claws. It's quite tight to do each corner cut, and if they're coming up like this, Glenn's going to have to do 2.
Cool.
Nice.
They really aren't as hard as they look.
Like, they're not terribly hard, you just don't have a lot of room for error.
No. It's not too bad.
It's also dependent on if they're like moving towards you or away from you, because you can still do it when they're moving away, but then it is very tight.
Ah! Now we get a back-to-back gauntlet fight with Flam Man and Plant Man.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fine. Invis. Give me Invis. I missed the guts punch. Oh good, he's staying.
There you go.
Okay, first turn area grab, please. That would be nice. Nope.
Yeah, an area grab actually seriously restricts Flamman's movement because, for some reason, he will never actually occupy the panel between the candles. So, once you area grab, he's actually restricted to only moving in the middle column.
I should have saved the repair, but whatever.
Nah, you're good. You'll do 800
I
damage.
flicked that as soon as it popped up. That was great.
Like, you're fine. This will do 800 damage. He's dead.
Goodbye. Flam Man. There is no Flame Man. You say Flame Man, you're wrong. There's more grape soda. Grape soda! It's better. The rest is just really, really disgusting Mountain Dew. It's fine. Alrighty, I'm gonna save on this one. That one you could just outrun.
Yeah, it's just important to know where you can afford to hide from them because a few of those gaps
They have alpha.
hiding them. Yeah.
That's what the program that Dad gave us in that email is for, but since they're fixed, we know where they are, so...
Yeah.
Or rather, where they're not. This one sucks.
Was close.
Okay.
You're just gonna hope for another good draw on Drillman?
Yeah.
So unlike the other Navis, Drillman here isn't a upgraded alpha version, it's just the same fight again, which is ridiculous honestly, but there it is.
It is what it is. Ah, that's the worst spot for an encounter, come on.
Yeah, it at least means that as you're going through this area, you won't get another encounter through there.
Right.
And the the marks on the side typically act as a good visual marker for where you can afford to stop.
Give me banana pudding! Got him.
Man, you and your Varslog draws, I'm impressed.
I only have 4, it's fine.
You're good at RNG.
I'm gonna save here.
Yep, this is the end of the run. This is the final frontier.
Mm-hmm.
Got one more comp to run through, which hopefully you don't get an encounter through, and then it is literally just base and alpha.
Why did you say something?
Look. I'm gonna nip this. If you get an encounter, it means you did something wrong.
It's okay, I drew Varsword.
With the manip route, you get consistent no encounter if you have the correct movement route.
Which I don't. What do we got? We have Airshot, Pawn, 1 Varsword.
That pawn really wants a attack plus 10 to be with.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking for it.
It's totally fine, though. Draw another Varsword. Nope. We'll just, kill base.
So base is pretty much all about just consistently attacking him. Because if he is given a chance to like completely recover after firing off one of his own attacks, his aura will regenerate. And as you saw in the aura, it's numbered with 100. You need to deal 100 damage or more to break his aura.
I hope this does not... Oh, crap. He broke my panels. That's not... Never mind. It's fine. You will not bring back your aura, sir. Another Varsword. We win.
Not bad. So that's base down, and now it is just alpha to go. Alpha, I think a lot of runners agree though, is the most threatening fight in this game. Alpha has a very annoying regenerating barrier around his core, which is not much of a threat if you have wood elements since it deals multiple hits, but we don't have that. So we're just going to have to hope that Glenn has an effective way to deal with it and to not hopefully lose too many Varsword hits from the barrier coming back up. His claws can also physically block the Varsword shots.
But since they're physical objects, they're useful for Bolt.
Mm-hmm. So we have Bolt to deal damage, and we also have the aforementioned Muramasa. This is one of the big reasons why HP plus 1000 is really useful. Alpha is at 720. If Glenn just face tanked tons of damage and got below 1000 remaining HP, Muramasa would immediately end the fight.
Here's our MVP, boys.
Oh, it's Pawn Champ.
It's pawn time.
So Pawn is really useful for stripping away the barrier, since the barrier does come back at increments, like it's a fixed time scale. Okay. Oh, this is tricky.
Got him.
There you go. Rock Cube into Bolt. Never add Bolt. Well, no, okay. Airshot works just well.
I don't think I've ever heard that before.
Never add Bolt.
Do not add Bolt. If you have to add Bolt, do not use the add function.
And time is when you lose control of Mega Man after running into the final cutscene here. Time. Alright, Glenn, I have a favor to ask of you.
Yes?
I mentioned, I wanted to, link the, manip method for alpha in the chat so that people could see it, but it's fucking deleting links. If I DM it to you, would you mind capturing it for a second?
Sure.
It's just a Twitch clip.
I don't mind.
It's
what was
30
the time?
seconds.
340 something? 350?
347. 347.09.
That's exactly what I got on Friday.
Oh, wow. I mean, that consistently...
I don't think to the second, but...
So just, yeah, I would just like to show this off as an example of what we have, in the works for... This is the state of, BN3 routing and development so far, that I'm basically trying to work out ways to deal with the fights more consistently, and this is what I've come up with for Alpha. This requires saving after you exit the Drillman comp, doing a folder edit so that everything in your folder is in a specific order, and then if you hard reset and use a consistent movement route into the final fight, you will get a consistent draw into base, and then since the RNG doesn't advance during the fight, you will then get a consistent draw into Alpha, and this is hopefully how the Alpha fight should go.
Alright, let's have a look here. I've got the bot on mute.
Okay.
So I'm going to transition to that. Nice.
That
Two-turn
is
alpha.
about as fast as I've managed to get alpha. Yeah, it's possible that it could be faster with a different attack order, but this is 4-var swords and assumes that you don't miss any inputs. And yeah, you kill alpha pretty fast.
There is one more thing we all must do as a sort of post-game celebration. I think I'll just reset the emulator for that. And it's one more Navi Coast.
Oh my god. Yeah, I know.
Almost mandatory.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Oh no.
He feels great. Oh no. I was chatting with a Mashi the other day. You mean that virus that looks like a mushroom? Aren't they dangerous? Normally they are, but he was pretty fungi.
Please.
That joke is really spore taste, Mega Man.
Why? Why?
It's a mandatory.